New York Giants fans have no shame, and it's been Batman forever since the Cowboys won the big game. You are now watching a Philly Fuego production. Gracias, amigos. Fly, Eagles, fly. Welcome to the Nest Out West, where Eagles fans are always the best. I will always ride or die for this team, and when I'm gone, please bury me in green. Now I don't want to come off like I'm bragging, but I'ma bring the heat like an effing dragon. You can call me Fuego, aka Phillyzilla, coming to you like the Thriller in Manila. Lots of collabs and live streams galore. You're gonna love what I have in store. Giving you my all, I always will try. And just remember, it's fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah. What is good? What is going on? And what is cracking? I'm Philly Foothills, and I am back in the Nest Out West. I'm trying to bring you the best when it comes to Philadelphia Eagles content on YouTube. And today we have episode number 5, I believe it is, East Meets West. And we are happy to be joined by our new co-host, VICK3. So what's going on, guys? VICK3, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody and let everybody know what's going on with you and how you became an Eagles fan, all that good stuff. The floor is yours.
Hey man, thank you. First of all, let me just say I appreciate you both for letting me on and bringing me on as a co-host. I mean, it's an honor to be here with both of y'all and sharing this time and space with you. Yeah, man, y'all know me, Victory. I'm always in the chats. You always see my comments out there. Um, for a while, everybody's been asking me if I'm gonna have my own channel. That's still not something that I have at the moment. But again, I'm a father of 5, take care of kids, I do my thing. But there's one thing that I love aside of my children and my wife is the Eagles. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I grew up on them. I was raised up on, sadly enough, that Richie Kotite team. So, I've been around the struggles and I've been around for the happiness. I'm just happy to be here and hopefully, I can bring something to the show that, gets everybody excited and gets more people in here.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, we're definitely excited to have you a part of the show. And AK Eagles, what's going on with you, my guy? How you doing?
It's just another day in paradise, my guy.
I hear you, man. Definitely. So, yeah, we got a few people in the chat right now. Looks like we got 7 people on the live stream. So shout out to the 7 right now. Definitely. Looks like Jalen Williams was in here. He said, "I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready." Absolutely. Jordy Fighter was in here. Shout out to Jordy. Thank you for checking in, my guy. Definitely. Bird Gang 31. Also, what's up, my guy? Appreciate you. Thank you for checking into the podcast. Yeah, episode 5 of East Meets West. So, I mean, you guys want to dive into a little bit of these rumors? There are some talks about the Eagles might possibly be interested in signing KJ Wright, linebacker from the Seattle Seahawks, who had a lot of continued success there. And yeah, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
Go ahead, Vic.
Thank you. Yeah, man, if we're interested in KJ Wright, I think that's the right player to be interested in. We've had a long-standing history of issues at the linebacker position. Even though this year we have some bright spots, doesn't mean that we necessarily should look away help. And KJ Wright, even though he's a player that's a little older, I believe he's 32 years old, he still can play. He brings a lot of talent, he brings a lot of wisdom with him. He comes from a winning organization, so that would only benefit us. If that is something that we're really seriously looking into, I would be all for it.
AK, what do you think about KJ?
Yeah, I'm for it as well, but I'm kind of torn in between it because, one, age again, 2, the money, and 3, we have a lot of young talent here at the linebacker position we need to look at, and yeah, he's a great mentor to bring in for these guys. He's definitely got the football IQ for it, but I don't want to take any more time away from young guys. We need to develop these guys, and I just feel bringing him in kind of delays that development a little bit. You know, it does help, but it also delays it because it takes time away from playing.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I can definitely see where you're coming from, but I think with somewhat us lacking that veteran leadership, someone who's had a lot of continued success in the NFL at the linebacker position, I think he would be, as long as he's not asking for too much money, I think he would be a good veteran addition to the linebacking core, and yeah, he would solidify it, I think, for sure.
And then you got to think about it too. Like I mentioned before, he's an older player, so you don't necessarily have to have him out as much as you think. You can still, bring in your young guys in there and have them develop as the season goes on.
Yeah. Hey Vic, are you on? The one, I don't know if you've seen that in the chat, but they said they could hear an echo. Are you on a headset or?
No, I have in my ear, but did you want to take that out?
No, I don't know if do you have like the echo cancellation on it or anything? Do you hear an echo at all? You guys hear an echo?
No, I don't.
Okay. I think we might be good. Okay. So also, James Washington, he's recently requested a. Oh, it looks like Vic dropped out. Maybe he's gonna check his audio. I hear a little bit of background noise. What is that? Give me 1 second.
How we doing now? How you hearing me?
That sounds a little bit better. Yeah, definitely. I think you're a little bit clearer now. I think we're good. Yep. So yeah, the fourth edition of our new co-host, I Go, he had a family party that he had to attend to tonight, so he's gonna be here next week. But yeah, he's gonna be sitting out tonight. But yeah, he said he sends his apologies, but he'll definitely be with us next week. But yeah, so yeah, we're looking forward to that. Getting his opinion and some takes on things. Give me 1 quick second, guys. Does that sound any different?
I haven't really had any issue.
Okay.
Well, now that's an echo.
You hear an echo now?
Yeah, feedback on.
Okay. Let's see here.
Testing the speakers.
All right, so let's see. So yes, I don't know if you guys watch my content, but also James Washington, wide receiver for the Steelers, has requested a trade. And I gave you guys my opinion on that. So I wanted to get your guys' take on that as well, because there's some been talks about us possibly adding a wide receiver to this group. What do you guys think?
With Washington, that's another player. You gotta look at it. You gotta be interested. But at the same time, it's kind of like what AK mentions about the linebackers. You have a lot of young talent in here. Do you really want to sacrifice their time and development for Washington? And at that, if he's coming in, I don't think he would play the slot. So that would take time away from Travis Fulgham and possibly Watkins. So again, you kind of come into that predicament of what do you want to do with the guys that are sitting behind him if he comes over? Again, I understand the talent. He's a good player. He could be a deep threat. That's one thing that he would bring to the table. But again, like we mentioned before, what does that mean for everyone sitting behind him?
Well, see, I think it's a little bit different there. He wants to go to a place that he can play. And with all the talent that we have, dude, he's going to find himself 5th or 6th on this depth chart. You know, I'm not going to put Washington over Watkins. I'm not going to put Washington over Fogle. Not even Rager. You know, I mean, these are guys we need to see. These are guys that have to improve. These are guys who are here and know the system and know Nick. You know, at this point, man, no, let him go somewhere else. There's plenty of other teams who need wide receivers and need help right now. And, you know, let him go to the Texans, for Christ's sake. He can play there, you know, and he'll start.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be the reason why I think he's definitely requested a trade out of Pittsburgh is because you know the addition of Chase Claypool last year, he definitely lost some playing time in 2020, and yeah, I could see possibly why James White definitely wants out of Pittsburgh, and yeah, I would kick the tires on it, but I wouldn't be over the moon for him either because he definitely he's still got something to prove. He's still young. He's a 2019 second round draft pick out of Oklahoma State. So I'm sure somebody will probably be interested in his services.
Let me just ask a quick question. Does anyone have a feed open? Any one of these two have another feed open? If you have like a laptop or anything that you're watching on also.
No. I just got streaming over.
I say usually sometimes if you have them both open, like if you have two things open, that's what you get the echo from.
Yeah, I don't think I do. Let me see. Let me come back. Let me go back out real quick. You guys we can start talking about the the different defenses and defensive coordinators in our division. And I'll be right back.
All right.
You able to hear me?
Okay.
How we sounding?
I think it might be coming from, maybe it's coming from AK because I think it sounds really clear now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you fine too. I don't hear any feedback or anything like that. It sounds clear now.
Okay.
I think it might have been on AK's end, or either that or it cleared itself up. One of the two. But yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the different defensive coordinators in our division? In the different schemes that they run. I want to get your take on that.
Well, looking at all the schemes that they run, one thing is common, and it might be something that isn't just in our division. It's just a common fact in the NFL. Everybody's now running more of a hybrid. No one's running a straight out 4-3 or some teams are still running out the 3-4, but it looks like everyone's moving to a hybrid because 3 of the 4 teams in the division are running hybrids. Ourselves being one of those teams included. The Giants being another, and Washington. Last season they started off in the 4-3 in the first week. Then they quickly switched it back to the 3-4, but they still use elements of the 3-4 in there. The same is for us. Now, on our end, we're more of a conundrum because Jonathan Gannon hasn't really talked about his scheme and his philosophy other than the fact that he has, hits. He wants to wreak havoc. And also, he's going to run everything what Mike Zimmer ran. So for the most part, he hasn't really talked about the system that he's running. We've seen a little bit in practice. It kind of lends itself to what he was saying. Yeah, more Mike Zimmer because you're going to see a lot of double A gaps blitzes. We've already seen Milton Williams. We've seen Savar Jackson. They're both spending time at the defensive tackle and the defensive end position. So they're going to move a lot of guys on that defensive front. It's very interesting, but they're the biggest question mark out of all the 4 teams in the division. We have the biggest question mark because no one really has any information at.
It's true. Yeah, and that's what I like about it because we're that wild card. You know, we're that we're the unknown right now, like you said. So we can take advantage of that, especially early on before the opposing teams get more and more film on us as the season goes along. But yeah, I mean, definitely in Dallas, Dan Quinn is definitely got his work a little more cut out for him, especially when you compare it to Seattle, because we know in Cowboy country they do not have anything near a Legion of Boom or anything like that. So he's going to have to find a different way to kind of go about it. So, what are your thoughts on? Do you think Dan Quinn's going to have success, and does he have pieces there to try to go in that direction?
You don't understand how much I've dreaded talking about the Cowboys because I hate them so much. I don't want to give them any credit at all.
Right.
But the thing with Dan Quinn is his teams are physical. They're all about attacking the ball and getting it. You know what I mean? So he's lucked out because Dallas, when I looked at the linebacking core, they're fairly decent. You got Javon Smith, you got Michael Parsons now. You know what I mean? They're 2 guys that are coming in, especially with Parkins, has a lot to prove in. But it sounds like in practice, he's everything that's been built. You know what I mean? He is that real deal. With their cornerbacks, they have Diggs, an unproven, I believe a rookie, if I'm not mistaken, unproven rookie, but that's what they're holding. That's what they're hanging their hat on right now. They just picked up a safety, I think, with Malik Hooker, which is for them. That's something else that they're going to need because they're going to want that Cam Chancellor type guy in the backfield. So it looks like Dan Quinn is putting himself together. What you were saying he couldn't. A little bit of Legion of Doom. It's going to be boom. But the thing is, you got to look at is Dallas's front 4. That's where they're lacking. You know what I mean? They're very inexperienced. I don't see much this year coming out for them, but they can surprise some people, like I said, because of that linebacking core.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Yeah, and
I hate myself.
here, let me see if I can unmute him now. Come on. Why isn't it doing it? Let's see. Let me if I take him. Or maybe he muted himself. AK Eagles, are you there? Can you hear me?
I think he's frozen. Oh,
He's muted, but it won't let me unmute him. I don't know. We're having some technical difficulties, everybody. I apologize.
hey, everybody, this is live. You know what I mean? Things are going to happen. Nothing's ever going to run as smooth as you think it will be.
I'm not muted. I'm not muted.
Here we go. He speaks.
You're good now. You're good now.
I was never muted the whole time. Like,
no, I know it was. I don't know. We're hearing a little bit of some background noise. I think it's coming from your end. I don't know if it's because of delay or what, but that's why I muted it. But then it wouldn't let me unmute you. So I don't know. But yeah, go ahead. Give me your take on Dan Quinn and what you think about him and the Dallas Cowturds this year.
Man, Dallas's defense is going to still suck. Plain and simple. I mean, just because you bring in a new defensive coordinator and he runs a 4-3 cover 3, I mean, that doesn't mean your defense is going to be good. I mean, yeah, you guys got Diggs. What you fucking do? Who's your CB2? Okay. Yeah, you guys got Keanu Neal from the Atlanta Falcons. What they do? He's been injured the last 2 years. He's injury prone. That's just what it is. The last 2 years, he's not been healthy. You have no secondary. Yeah, you have great linebackers. Okay. Can they cover wide receivers? No. Your D line, all you have is an offense. So, I don't know, man. It doesn't matter what kind of coach you have. If you don't have the right guys to play in that system and they're not talented enough, it doesn't matter, man. It really doesn't. I don't expect much to change from last year and this year with the Dallas defense. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely got they got an improvement in coaching, but the coaching can only take you so far. You have to have the right ingredients for the coach, for the players to be able to work out there cohesively. So, and when it comes to the depth for the Cowboys, that's what I look at too. A lot of times and they just don't have a lot of depth, on the defensive side. So, yeah, I question whether they're gonna be successful on the defensive side of the ball this year for sure. But yeah, I wanted to ask you guys your thoughts on Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator for the Washington football team. I know they obviously have a really good defensive line, but what are your guys' thoughts on him and the scheme that he runs in Washington? Vic, go ahead.
As for Jack Del Rio, you got to be honest, and you have to give him credit for what he did last year. He started off the season as 4-3, saw his defensive front, and knew that he needed to make a change. So he switched it up the next week to a 4-3, and it worked out. You know what I mean? That front four is, let's be honest, they're a beast. You got Chase Young back there, you got Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat and Young especially, like they're making a name for themselves. And you got the two guys on the interior who are pretty good. On the defensive side of on the linebacker end, they're stuck with one linebacker. John Bostic does everything for them. So, that's what they have going for them. And the defensive backs, yeah, they're good. They got Kendall Fuller. I think I'm missing someone else. Kenny Moreland, I think his name is. They're fairly decent, especially there. And you have their safety, which helps them out a lot. But this year, I think they lost their safety. So they're actually in the toss-up right now because they have, Kareem Curl, and they have someone else. I can't remember his name, but they're both unproven. So Washington has a lot of deficiencies, especially on the back end. Yeah. But their cornerbacks and their defensive line, I think, will carry them just like they did last year.
Got you. All right, AK, what do you think about Jack Del Rio in Washington?
I like Jack Del Rio, man. And in all honesty, I don't believe he even deserved to lose his job as the Raiders head coach. He did fine for the Raiders. He's actually a pretty damn good defensive coach, and they're lucky to have him. This defense is only going to go up, but I'm not scared of him. That's if you want me to be completely honest with you, I'm not scared of Washington's defense, but they do have a good defense.
And like Vic said, their front line definitely helps make up for the deficiencies on the back end, and they're gonna be a solid unit. And a lot of the times, a very good defensive line can make up for a lackluster secondary. So yeah, it's something that Washington's probably going to have to, lean on this season. But yeah, then we got, Patrick Graham, who had a pretty damn solid unit for not being a very good team, but his defense was pretty solid for the most part last year, and he's got a lot of coaching experience with a lot of success. He's got 10 years of coaching experience. He's with 7 division titles, 2 conference championships, and a Super Bowl under not as a defensive coordinator, but as he was working up his way through the ranks. But yeah, he's a smart guy. Yeah, he played college ball at Yale. So yeah, I want to get your guys' thoughts on Patrick Graham. And Vic, go ahead, go first.
If you look at it from last year, Patrick Graham was probably the least thought of defensive coordinator in the league, especially when he came after from Miami, with I think they had the worst statistical defensive year in 2019, and he was coming into a Giants team that was in shambles. At first, Giants fans know very well, if any of you are watching, you know this and you've heard this many times. Last year was a tale of 2 seasons. In the first half, the Giants looked horrible. In the second half, it looks like, Graham took his time, assessed his team, and made some adjustments. They
Right.
started playing less man. They started stopped doing 5-man fronts. They started playing more cover one, more cover three. They started, moving their safeties around, coverage skills, and that benefited them greatly because I think they went from 26 and they ended up maybe, I want to say, top 10 or maybe just top 15 in defense. So that's a drastic jump in 8 games. And I want to say in the last 4 games or maybe last 3 games, they had an uptick on sacks. So they're going to go into this year and they're just going to build on what they did. They had a big deficiency in their cornerbacks with was it Danbury or Bradbury? They had to shift
Yeah.
that defense. They would shift wide receivers over to other corners. This season, let's be honest, the Giants made an improvement in their cornerback position. They got Adoree Jackson. They're not going to be as reliant as they were before. You're going to play more free. They're going to bring back more man coverage. They're going to bring more guys into the box. Now, out of all the teams, I think the Giants probably are more capable of doing things on the fly. Even though I said Jack Del Rio first game changes, Patrick Graham, I like. I'm very interested in him. He's a very smart guy. He's a New England guy. He's been working with Joe Judge since 2012. He has a lot, and I see him honestly. If the Giants do what I think they can do this year, I'm gonna be honest. They're gonna be top 15, top 10. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm an honest Eagles fan. I think he won't be there next year. I think he might get a head coaching job. So there's a lot of intrigue with Graham.
Yeah, and I think there's a good chance that he could possibly, if Joe Judge shits the bed this year and the Giants look like absolute dog shit, there's a good chance I think he could be out, and Graham might just step in as an interim, and if the team does well, then he could take over full time. I could see that definitely because I think you're right. I think he's going to be a head coach before long. But AK, what do you think about Patrick Graham?
I like him. It's like Vic said. He took a really bad defense and made him competitive. So, you can't knock him for that. He's actually a pretty decent head coach or defensive coach, and he will make a really good head coach someday. But we got to just make sure that he keeps it up. We'll see this year, but from what he did last year though, he's good.
Got you. Yeah, I mean, and I agree. I think, like I said, I think he's a smart guy, and yeah, he's definitely an up and coming coach in this league. One that we'll definitely have our eye on, being a division rival, a defensive coordinator. So, yeah, Patrick Graham's he's got a few pieces to work with now on that defensive side of the ball, and he could, if he, like I said, if he continues to succeed and Joe Judge continue to spiral downward, then I mean he may not even have to look for another job. He might just take over the head coaching job himself. Yeah, I mean I wanted to ask you guys, especially Vic and AK, you as well. We've talked about it a lot ourselves, but I wanted to ask you, Vic, about what your thoughts on, on this whole this whole joke judge thing in New York. Is this making this team stronger for them? Do you think, or what do you think's going on there? Because they got players left and right that are retiring since the beginning of camp. So, what's going on in New York?
I think whoever's running the New York Giants PR should get paid extra because there's a lot going on that not a lot of people know. Because you can't tell me that a team's going to go out and say that a player's retiring for his family, and that very same player turns around the same day and says, no, I'm just not about it this year. I'm not handling it. My body's not going to take it. I'm not with it. Meaning that there must be something more than what's being said. Now, we've seen this week, the Giants had a horrible week. I think earlier in the week they had a little tussle. Coach made them run some laps. It was a joke. Everyone, we all retweeted it. We made fun of it. But the next day, there was a running play with Corey Clement and Jabril Peppers. And Clement didn't like the way he was hit. Didn't like anything. He thought it was practice. Should have been eased up more. And a melee ensues. But what makes it worse is the most important part, supposedly, of the franchise is at the bottom of the goddamn pile. Now, I don't know what head coach has ever allowed his quarterback to get involved in a team fight, especially one that involves him having pretty much all the players on top of him. That's not a smart move. And
Right.
again, I don't know if you heard earlier this week, Jason Garrett had a press conference, and as he was leaving, everyone said, goodbye, Jason. And he turned around and asked him to refer to him as coach. So I honestly think, as you mentioned before, there's a power struggle going on in the New York Giants office. No one's really talking about it. Everyone's keeping mum on it. Joe
Yeah.
Judge, especially. You seen the next day after that fight, they all had shirts. He's trying to put it out, trying to make a joke about it. I don't think any of the players are laughing. They don't respect him. There's nothing to respect.
Yeah, and I think it's really kind of embarrassing, especially to have your, with everything that's gone on, and then on top of that, to have your coaches running with the players. I just think that's a bad look. I really do. And so, AK, what are you? I know we've talked about it a little bit ourselves, but what are your thoughts on Joe Judge and what's going on in New York? All the drama.
First thing first, I'm gonna hit on the Jason Garrett thing. That shit was funny. I laughed really hard on that. Like, dude, let your ego go, man. Like, no lie. There was no disrespect there. There was no nothing. Like, he's a dick, plain and simple. Like, so I did not like that, and I agree with you. When you got people talking like that, it's almost like a power struggle, you know. And they don't need that right now. Especially after the season they had last year. That was all motivation driven. Well, where's the motivation now? Where is it? You're fighting. Your coaches are running. You got people retiring. Coaches wanting other coaches' jobs. It looks like. So it's like, well, where's the motivation now? There's no more motivation anymore. You done pissed that out the window. But and as for as Danny being on the bottom of the pile, how the fuck does that even happen?
Right. Exactly.
Like
That gives a big, yeah.
like, dudes, I get it. You can't run and stay on your own 2 feet when no one's around you, but now you're telling me you can't fight either? Like, that's terrible, bro.
Yeah.
So it's a clusterfuck in New York. That's all I can say, man.
And the thing is, you got to think about it. It could have started as early as last season because at the end of the year, when they had that closing press conference, Joe Judge went ballistic on the Eagles. He was so upset. And I think a lot of the things he was saying, the players were looking at him and saying, we've done that many, many seasons before. Like if you're out of it, you're not going to risk anyone to get injured to have them play, especially if you have nothing for it. If there's no fight, you say there's no reason to play all your guys, you're not going to, especially at the end of the season. That's happened all across the NFL. So I think, like I said, when they saw him and they see the way he reacts, especially now because he's a Bill Belichick disciple, he tries to do things out of the Bill Belichick playbook. He tries to, I don't know, enforce an authority that doesn't rub off the right way. You got to think about it too. Joe Judge's age. A lot of the players in there are older than him. How are you going to respect a man that just demanding respect that's younger than you? It doesn't work that way. You got to earn respect to get respect. And I think Judge went in there expecting something that he hasn't gotten yet.
Yeah, I think you got a good point there, Vic, for sure. And I think I think Joe. I think we've only begun to see the clusterfuck which Joe Judge is going to create in New York, because I think it's gonna kind of snowball from here. I could already kind of see that happening.
Hey man, in the words of T.O., get your popcorn ready.
Exactly, Vic. Exactly. But yeah, in regards to our defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, to me, he's already looking and sounding like a head coach. I'm really excited. Excuse me, to see what this guy, how he uses the pieces that we have right now, and he's gonna give us we're gonna be lining up in 4-3, and maybe he's been lining us up in a 3-4 as well, and in camp and stuff like that. So I think he's going to have a good mixture of blitzes and things, and just giving the opposing quarterbacks a lot of different looks. So, and I think like we've been showing in camp so far. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think the defense is, and I've been saying this. I think our defense is going to be the strength of this team this year. And yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on John on our one JG.
Well, I like the fact that a lot of people don't know what this defense is going to look like. They
Right.
don't exactly know what the scheme is going to be. That all they have is reference to Mike Zimmer's defense because Mike Zimmer's a great defensive coordinator and he's run a lot of defenses. He's switched up and innovated a lot. Now, especially what I like about this is that no one has any tape on us, especially during training camp. You mentioned before on one of your streams or excuse me, one of your videos. Is it something that we should be doing with holding our players back from training camp or preseason games? Absolutely. Because this year, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to be having joint practices with the Patriots, a
Right.
team who was notorious for loving to keep tape on teams. So I think that's a good strategy to go into the season. The less they know about us, the less they can be prepared. The less they're prepared, the more chances we have, attacking. And that sounds great. I know the Philly media might be upset. I know people on our end might be upset because we don't know really what's going on. But the only person that really needs to know what's going on is Nick Sirianni and Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree because everybody else they can be left in the dark. Nobody, like you said, it's for us to know and for them to find out, and it's going to be fun watching it all play out as it does on the field because there are so many question marks that we have as a football team that need to be answered and are going to be very, very soon because football is right around the corner. And yeah, I mean, and yeah, that was actually a video that I did earlier today. Talking about Sean McVay holding out his key vets that are not battling for a roster spot he's holding them out of preseason, and he's continuing to do so with Matthew Stafford. And I for one, like you said, I think it's pretty fucking smart. I really do because if you're confident in your players and like you said, if the more and more of these joint practices that we can get, the less important preseason football actual playing in the game for like he's been doing, like he's doing for his key starters, the less important it would become to me as a head coach. So I definitely think he's ahead of the curve. And I think you're going to see more teams doing this.
Yeah, and they should because like I mentioned before, you should hold your players out for preseason games because preseason games should be meant for your unproven players and your incoming rookies. Give them time to get out on the field. Give them all the time to get out on the field. And as for your starters or who you already have projected as your starters, they can get that workout in a practice with another team because it's better than a game because when you're messing up in a game, that's it. You've made your mistake. The other team scored. Now, when you're doing it in joint practice, we can stop practice. We can discuss this. We can go over what you just did. We can give you pointers on what to do. You can't do that in the game. So I think that'll be more beneficial for the players. Now, they may be a little rusty for the first game, but we've already seen NFL players take time off for training camp. What is it? The past 5 years, training camp has been drastically changed. There's no more 2-a-days. That's a thing of the past. You know what I mean? There's no more of a time where a team would have their starters in for the first quarter and then, bring in their second team for the second quarter and everyone else do the fourth. Like that model is done for. You have to think about the longevity of your players and the health of your players because if you come into the season already with injuries, it's not going to end up well for you. You're not going to make it to the Super Bowl. So getting there is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So like we were doing now with Brandon Brooks, with other players that have been injured. Yeah, we're going to let them sit out. We don't need them in training camp. Yeah, we want their heads in the playbook. We want them, to have the timing right and have everything down. But at the same time, most importantly, we need them healthy.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to get AK's take on this. So, AK, I don't know if you've seen my video that I put out earlier today, but I was talking about how Sean McVay is not going to be playing. Well, and this is not new for him. He doesn't normally play his key starters in preseason games, and he's not going to do. He's going to continue to do so with Matthew Stafford. So I'm wondering if this is going to maybe going to be a start of a trend in the NFL, and you're going to start seeing more teams do that because of the more of these combined practices that we're having. So I want to get your take on that.
I think it all depends on the team, honestly. Like, I think for our team, you'll see a lot of the starters out there because it's a new system, new head coach, new playbook, and you just want to get the reps in. You want to get everyone comfortable with the offense, comfortable with one another, But as far as, like, maybe Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Seahawks, the ones that have been together, for a while, or at least have that consistency, they probably won't. But definitely the new teams like the Jets, Lions, Atlanta, us, we'll probably all starters.
Yeah, I got you. And yeah, I think to me it makes sense to a certain degree. If you have the same playbook for your offense that you've had for multiple years, and vice versa on the defensive side. If there's not a huge learning curve for these vets and they don't have huge competition at their position, then yeah, I don't see the huge need to have them play in the preseason. I really don't, because we can prevent a lot of injuries and therefore put a better product out there on the field when the games actually count, when they actually matter. And I understand if people are, when the fans, and shout out to Richie MC, he actually left me a pretty lengthy comment on the video that we're referencing right now. And he said, he thinks it's not a good idea because then you're taking away, not only are you taking away the fan experience to see the players play in the preseason, but on top of that, they still charge all the full prices for the tickets and the concessions, parking, and etc. So I think that there's a way that if the NFL did start to, hold the starters out of the preseason, that they can, they can have the owners, charge less for the preseason games, charge less for the concessions, all that stuff during the preseason, and then stuff goes back to regular when the games actually count and when the starters are actually going to be out there on the field, and just leave preseason to the to the bottom of the end guys that are fighting for their NFL lives and fighting for a roster spot. And I think it would all work out for the better in the long run, because you're going to put a better product out there on the field. You know what I mean?
Well, to the fan aspect, I say this: would you want your team prepared and ready for the season, or do you just want to sit back and watch a preseason meaningless game? As for the ticket prices and the hot dog prices, yeah, they are high, but you control that too because you don't go. When people stop showing up, then they have to figure out different ways of getting you back in. And lowering the prices is usually the first thing. Look at Atlanta; they just did that.
Right.
So, like I said, you got to understand as a fan. Yeah, you want to be very selfish, but you have to understand that you want your team to end up making it in a Super Bowl, and you want everything to go in their favor in order for them to get there. If they're better off having joint practices and learning more, and putting less punishment on their body, then why not? Again, we're going to see these games regardless. We don't preseason. Who really cares about it? Let's be honest. That's why they took out a game. They put an extra game in, because who really cares about preseason? That's
right.
Only there for the unproven player and the rookie. So if you want preseason, you're going to have to come into this understanding. You're going to watch unproven players and rookies. This is basically CFL football for the first 4 weeks. After that, then you're going to get regular football.
Yeah, I mean, Vic speaking facts, and that's a big reason why I brought him on as a co-host of our East Meets West podcast, because he's continually bringing the great takes and the information, and yeah, we're doing big things out here with the East Meets West podcast, because we got 11 people in the live stream right now. So definitely shout out to all you guys out there in the live stream. Thank you so much for being with us. Looks like yeah, Bird Gang just chimed in again. He said, "What's going on, guys?" Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, so I wanted to to ask you guys too about how would you rank the I'll have you go first, Vic. How would you rank the the different so that we're going to rank the different levels of defense in the NFC East, the secondaries, linebacking core, and then the defensive line. So, we'll start with it. We'll start with the secondaries. How would you rank that, Vic?
Well, I got to give it to us on the secondary because with the acquisition of Nelson, beforehand, you got to give it to Washington. But with the acquisition of Nelson, you got Darius Slay, and as I mentioned him before, and now you have what could possibly an interesting rookie in McPherson, or you have Avante Maddox, or you have Josiah Scott. So you have options that a lot of these teams don't. New York doesn't have these options. New York still has Bradbury, even though they did get a Dory Jackson. That's one pickup, and I think they drafted a cornerback, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But again, we're talking about a rookie. So are you depending your whole season on a rookie? I know we do that for our wide receiver, but that's a different position. Rookie with a cornerback, you got a lot more responsibility. There's a lot more on you. You're basically on an island for a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I would say. I'm sorry, go ahead.
The Giants do have they got Jabril Peppers too. The safety. So they
Peppers is a beast. But again, we have Anthony Harris, and we potentially, hopefully, have Ronnie McLeod at the beginning of the season. And if not, we have Kayvon Wallace.
Yeah.
So again, we have options that I'm seeing that these teams really don't have. Second, like I mentioned before, I'd have to give it to Washington Redskins. You can't discount what Fuller can do. You know what I mean? Their safeties, again, as I mentioned before earlier, they're nameless. They're no names.
Yeah.
But again, their cornerbacks. Let me see. I have them right here actually. Jimmy McMorland. He's a decent cornerback. You know what I mean? So their defensive front will help them a lot. That's why I think with Washington it's so easy for them because their defensive front takes so much pressure away from the back end. So that's why you still got to give them that second ranking. Third, I gave it to the Giants because you do have Jabel Peppers, you have Logan Ryan, you got Dory Jackson. Bradbury, I won't mention that much because we've seen his deficiency.
Yeah.
They have a lot to build on. And lastly, I'm going to give it to the Cowboys because the Cowboys, they're all paper champions. There's nothing here that I see.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I want to get AK's take on this as well. So how would you rank the secondaries in the NFC East, AK?
Secondaries, I would go us first, Giants second, Washington third, Dallas fourth.
Okay.
And it's pretty much by what Vic said, but you know what? Giants do have Bradbury. They got a Dory Jackson, so that's an okay second behind Bradbury. It's kind of like how we did with Slay and Nelson. So you got that, and then they also got Peppers, I believe, right?
Right. The safety.
Yep. So he's really good. So I got to put them above Washington. I know, and plus, I gotta hate on my brother's team a little bit. Like I can't let him be behind us. This ain't gonna happen. So, yeah, I just think Giants just have secondary is a little bit better than Washington.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So I'm not too far off for you guys. I think too. I actually put just because of the fact that we added Nelson, and I think even if Kayvon does struggle a little bit, McLeod's going to be back before long. So I have us at 1. I have the Giants at 2. I have the football team at 3, and then the Cowboys at 4. I think again, the Cowboys have a lot of holes in the secondary. So that's why I have them at the end, in 4th place there. But yeah, so then as far as the, like you said, Vic, the football team, their safeties are guys you've never heard of, and their defensive line can definitely make up for deficiencies, on the back end. So that's why I have the football team third, and yeah. So then we got the different linebacking cores in the East. I want to get your take on this, AK. What do you think about the different linebacking cores in the East?
This one's tough, and I'm probably going to get shot for this. But we're going by talent. There's no biases in here. You got to give the linebacking core. Fuck me.
If it's what you want to say.
Like,
I'm so glad I made him go first.
I really want to fucking give it to Dallas here, man, because they got 4 really good fucking linebackers. They really do. Cox, yeah, he's a rookie, but we all wanted him. We did in the draft. He's a good linebacker. They got Van Der Esch. Now, granted, he has health issues, but when he's healthy and he's playing, he's good. Now you put in Micah Parsons in there. Well, fuck you. We all know what he can do. He's a beast. I've watched him at Penn State. I know. They just got a really good linebacking core, man. And I hate to admit that, but that ain't going to save them. I can tell you that right now. And then I'd have to say that would be us second, Giants third, and Washington fourth.
Okay. Got you. Vic, what do you think about the linebacking core in the East?
It pains me just like AK. He didn't want to, but I had them flat out. Dallas Cowboys have the best linebacking group in the NFC. You got to give it to Cox, even though he's unproven. The kid's coming in. He got a lot of expectation. Parsons, come on, man. We all know who he is. You got Jalen Smith at Notre Dame, came back from a horrible injury, only to prove himself. So you got to give him credit. And Leighton Van Esch, the guy's always hurt, but he's always in there. He's like a Sean Lee type, another guy who was always hurt. But when he's playing, the guy's a beast. So again, I hate to say it, but I'm a logical fan. You got to give them credit for what they have. So Dallas would end up with the number 1 linebacking core in NFC East. It's nothing big. It's one thing they could actually win at. Number 2, I gave it to the Giants because they got Blake Martinez, Reggie Ragland, Lorenzo Carter, and I believe his name is Oziz, and I cannot pronounce his last name, and I won't because I won't disrespect it. Yeah, man. They're proven. They came in last year, especially Blake Martinez. He was playing like at a high rate. I believe he got injured, couldn't finish the season, which is, a little tragic. And this year they're only going to grow off of that. So I had to give the Giants the number 2 role. In third place, that would be us because, with the addition of Eric Wilson, we got Devion Taylor, Alex Singleton, TJ Edwards, Sean Bradley. We have a slew of people. Let me not forget Jacoby Stevens, new guy. So that's another reason. We have a multitude of options. Hopefully, we can get the right combination in there to start. I do see it being Wilson, Taylor, and Bradley, but we'll see how it works out. I see us going in with Stevens if he can develop the way he should be. He could be that wild card package that you just throw in there. You don't know where he's going to come. Kayvon Wallace is another one they might throw in there. So yeah, I'm going to give us the third because we're a little unproven. We have a lot of options and we don't know where we're at right now. And in last place, I'm going to have to give it to Washington because they literally only have 1 linebacker. They got Cole Holcomb. He got hurt last year. He had a decent season, but again, you don't know what to expect from him. He doesn't really give you much. You got John Bostic. I'm going to be honest right there. You got to give that man credit also. He's a beast. He held that middle of the field down all season. And again, the reason why I gave the number 2 spot on cornerbacks to the Washington Redskins is because of that defensive front. They take away so much pressure. It's not even funny. And with another year, behind them, they're only going to get better, sadly enough. So that's why that's how I ended up with the linebackers.
Got you. Yeah, and I have it the same way you did. I have the I have the Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Washington football team, and it was a little close for me with us and the Giants, but like you said, they're a little more proven, especially as a unit. And yes, we did add Wilson, and he did have over 100 tackles last year, but that was a completely different defense and completely different opponents he was playing against and things like that. So hopefully he's gonna have just as good of a year or better, but we just never know, But so like obviously on paper, the Cowboys they clearly have the most talent right now. They're young, they're unproven as far as the NFL, but I think Jabril Cox and Micah Parsons are going to be very very good additions for the Dallas Cowboys. As much as it pains me to say that, but yeah, I mean they have a solid linebacking unit now, and the Giants, like you said, they have a really solid unit as well, and us with just the kind of the pieces that we've added, and Jannard Avery coming back to the natural stand up position of linebacker. But we have some question marks as well. Davion Taylor's he's got a little nicked up calf now, so he's missing some time, and that's precious time too. For a second year guy like Davion Taylor, who is already showing that he's making some big strides forward. I hate to see him get hurt like that, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean the linebacking core, we definitely it's probably the strength of the NFC East. I would say, unless you're going to talk about the defensive line, which we are going to do right now. So yeah,
Well, let me just add a little caveat to that, though. Now, again, this is only if this would happen. If the Eagles are interested in KJ Wright and we do acquire him, we instantly shoot up to the number one. Let me just throw that out there. Again, this is wishful thinking. We don't know if it could possibly happen. It's a rumor at the moment.
Yeah.
But if we were to make that move, yeah, we would instantly be number one.
Okay, got you. Yeah, I like it. What do you think about that? What do you think about that, AK? Do you think we would jump up to number one if we get KJ Wright?
Yeah, because I have us at 2. You guys have us at 3. So yeah, I would definitely say we jump to 1.
Okay. Got
And
you.
people might think, why is it a drastic jump? Let me just point out, because I did mention it before, you have Van Ness who's constantly injured, and you also have Jalen Smith, who is an often injured player. So when you add that in, yeah, I'm going to have to jump us up to the number one. Let me just make that clear.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to the defensive lines in the NFC East, I definitely want to get your guys' take on that as well. So, AK Eagles, what do you think about would you rank the defensive lines in the East? Do you have? I mean, are you go with the somewhat clear of an answer of the football team as your number one?
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, we're number 1 on the defensive line, man. First off, I mean, I get it. You got Young and you got Sweat. But you don't have Cox in the middle. You got Payne. Cox is not Payne, or Payne is not Cox. Okay, and that's all you got. But we got BG, we got Kerrigan, we got Sweat, we got Barnett. I mean, granted, Barnett, that's not much of an argument. But you got Cox, you got Hargraves, you got Ridgeway, you got Williams, you got Jackson. We have so much depth at this defensive line, and they're all proven, and they've all played together for so long. Sweat and Young are just in their second. Well, Young's in his second year. Sweat's in his third, right? Something like that. So
Sweat's in the second, Young's in the second. Sweat's in his third.
Yeah. So in my mind, I'm sorry, we have the better defensive line than Washington. I know a lot of Washington people might want to disagree with that, but we do. And I believe it'll show a lot more this year than what it did last year as well. I mean, we were third in sacks last year, man. We had 49. And our defensive line only got better since last year. So, no, I'm sorry. And then Washington, obviously, is second. Giants would be third, and Dallas's defensive line is fourth.
Okay. Vic, what do you think about the defensive lines in the NFC East?
I'm gonna have to differ a little bit from AK. I do have Washington as the best defensive line. I know it's not a popular opinion, and I know a lot of people are saying, giving me the finger, but you do have to look at it, man. Chase Young last year was a rookie, and he played like a veteran. He's a special talent. He is a generational talent. You can't discount it. You got Deron Payne, yeah, 3 sacks, but he had an interception. There's some talent there. He still has a ceiling. You got Jonathan Allen out of Alabama. The kid played he plays good. He's another solid player. And you got Montez Sweat, who's another guy, laying on the wood and making a name for himself. Now, on our end, the reason why I give them the credit as number one is because we're still deciding if Josh Sweat or Derek Barnett's going to be our starter. You know what I mean? We're looking at Brandon Graham in his 12th season. We got Derek Cox. Is he going to be at Derek Cox level this season? We don't know. Hargraves is another question mark. He came in last year. We had a lot of high hopes for him, but we didn't get much results. So this year, when we're looking at our defensive line, it's like the whole team. We have that if this happens or if they can stay healthy, then we can be that. You can't put if at the number one spot. There's too much uncertainty in there. I give them the second spot, most definitely, because we do have that talent. We can produce. Now, hopefully, Sweat does what he's supposed to, wins out that position. BG can get back in the swing of things with Cox also, and Hargraves does his thing. But just looking at it now, I can't confidently say that they're the number one defensive line in the division. Third and fourth, to be honest, it's very hard to say which team is worse. I'm gonna have to give. It's honest. You got to be honest with it, man. Like, I'm gonna have to say Dallas is better than the Giants right now because of DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence only. He's a decent player. They only carry 3 linemen. They're in the 4-3 all the time. So you got Neville Gilman, Carlos Watson. All right, players, but don't really produce. Now, when you look at New York, you got Dexter Lawrence, Danny Sheldon, Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams is probably the best of the 3. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Leonard Williams was the pickup from the Jets, who had a down season. So, again, not a lot showing for potential in both of those lines. But like I said, I'm going to have to give the Dallas Cowboys the 3rd spot and the New York Giants the 4th spot.
Got you. Yeah, I actually have, I have to give the number one spot to the football team as well, because of the fact that, I think we've only begun to see what Chase Young can do. He's the combination of him and Montez Sweat is very, very dangerous. And, I just think that they have the more proven talent to this point. So yeah, that's where I have to give them the edge. And like you said, there's just with us, yeah, we have a good mixture of veteran talent and rookie talent on our defensive line, but there is some question marks there as well. What's gonna happen with Derek Barnett, and where do we go from there? Obviously, if Josh Sweat can continue this dominance into the season, then the conversation obviously is going to change a little bit. Because if he's succeeding, that more than likely means that BG is succeeding, and so is one of the guys in the middle, whether it's Hargrave or Cox. So yeah, that's why I have us at number 2. And yeah, I'm with you. It's really kind of a toss up with the Cowboys and the Giants for the 3rd and 4th spot, but because of DeMarcus Lawrence, I think he's a difference maker for them on the defensive line. So I would definitely probably tend to lean towards the Cowboys 3rd and then the Giants 4th when it comes to ranking the defensive lines in our division. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch because we have some dynamic players in this division on both sides of the ball. We have good receivers, running backs. Our offensive line hopefully is going to be healthy and ready to go. Going into the season, and yeah, I mean, as far as you know the the things that you still want to see in camp out of our guys, Vic and AK. What's some of the things that you want? I know we had a pretty sloppy practice offensively today. So, what are some of the the things that you're going to be looking for? And I want to hear. I want to ask AK this, because he's going to be attending the practice tomorrow. So, AK, what are some of the things you're going to be looking for tomorrow at practice?
Well, first off, I hate being fucking muted because there's so many arguments I wanted to fucking make right there, man, but it's too late. I ain't even making them now. It ain't even worth my time. I was trying so hard to fucking argue right there with you on that defensive line, but we'll let that one go for now. We'll save that another day.
Sorry, man.
No, man, I just go tomorrow night, man. I'm gonna be watching Hurts. I'm gonna be watching receivers, offensive line, Sweat, Mylota, just every position that everyone is looking at right now, and I want to visually see with my own eyes how this is gonna go. I hear what people say and I see what people say, but it's a little different whenever you can visually see it with your own eyes. So I'll tell you my own personal opinion once I see it. I'm going down there with open eyes and a fresh mind. I know what people have said and I know what people say, but some people are just a little too tough sometimes. So, in my eyes, I feel like, maybe these reporters are messing bullshit. They don't want people to know the truth. No cameras are there. Once the cameras go off, we don't know what happens. It could all be bullshit. I don't know. But we'll find out, man. We'll find out. And yes, I am going, and I will be live at practice. I'm actually going to be on Joe Castro's show tomorrow night at 7. And I'll be on there from however long the practice goes. So definitely tune in there if you want to know live updates.
Yeah. No, hey, if the floor is yours, you want to give us some of your arguments for the defensive line.
It's all good, man.
We want to hear them.
It's all good. Time's over. Time's over.
He was hot. He lost that passion.
All right.
I was hot then. I'm not hot now. Yeah, exactly. I just shook my head and was laughing, man. That's all. Y'all keep that up, though. Keep it up. That's fine. Dude, the only thing I want to say is what? Shown did not fucking affect Jalen Hurts. He did it with backup fucking Driscoll and Mylota were right and left tackle that game. Yeah, we didn't win it. They weren't phasing him. Not one bit. He was getting away. He got away from Chase Young and he got away from Montez Sweat. Why should I be worried about their defensive line? Y'all look at their names and that's what you want to look at. That's fine. I look at performance. I look at stats. I don't look at the names on their back. Yeah, they have great names on their back, but they did not do shit against Jalen Hurts. Week 16 or whatever it was? They didn't. They didn't when they did, he got away. So why should I be worried, especially whenever we have Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks coming back, Kelsey, Sam Malu, and Mylota up there? Why should I be worried about any of them?
Well, we weren't basing our argument just on how they played against Jalen Hurts and our Eagles. We were basing it on.
Well, that's what I'm doing though, because the Eagles are my team, and I'm basing it on that. I don't give a shit what they do against other teams. I care about what they do against my team.
Okay. All right. I'll take that.
I'm telling you right now, their defensive line is not better than our offensive line. That's why we're first.
Okay. I got you. I see your path of thinking there, and I can understand it. So yeah, and I'm glad that I'm glad that you're. And I'm sorry that I had you muted. It was a little bit of background noise.
It's fine, man.
It's nothing personal, obviously.
Well, that's why I'm wondering. I don't even know how I'm getting background noise because no one's even up, and I'm sitting in a room that's completely quiet. So I don't even know where the background noise is coming from.
I don't know. It might be because of a internet delay or something like that. I don't know. It's hard to say. But Yeah, it's not a big deal now. It's
I had more points too, but I forget all them already as well. So that was the one that came to me.
no worries. So yeah, I want to go through with you guys too. They and rank who we think is our most difficult opponents from 14-1. Because we have a 17 game season this year. So who wants to start it off at number 14? Vic, you
I
want to
would
go?
gladly do that.
No, go ahead, AK.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
AK.
Number 14, right off the bat, is them Jets. I'm not sold on Wilson. Now I like their head coach. I won't lie. I believe their head coach is going to just, they both have really good motivation, high energy. Salah is awesome. In fact, I wanted Salah. But when he went there, hey, I'm happy with Nick. I really think Salah's going to go far. But I'm not sold on Wilson. Their defense is still blah. Their offense is still blah. We got to see him this year, but I don't know. They got a long way to go, man. Long way to go.
Got you. Okay. Hey, I can't argue. I can't argue that because the Jets have a lot of question marks. They have a new coach. He's a defensive minded coach, so I think their defense is going to be better. But yes, and he did bring an offensive guy from the 49ers with him. So we're going to get our questions answered pretty quickly about Zach Wilson. But so what do you have at 14, Vic?
I got the Lions. I think they're the bottom of the barrel. We got DMC over there going crazy, taking off kneecaps and not even worrying about the scheme. They have so many problems going on in Detroit. It's not even funny. I think Anthony Lynn is running the offense, but not calling the plays. The brightest spot that the Detroit Lions have is Deuce Staley.
Got you. Yeah, and hey, I have Detroit at 14 too because I'm with you. They definitely got a huge downgrade at quarterback, and they lost Galladay as a receiver on offense. And their head coach has no experience. He hasn't ever even been an offensive coordinator. I mean, he's a tight ends coach, so I think he's going to have some growing pains definitely. So yeah, that's why I have Detroit at 14, and at 13, I have the Carolina Panthers at 13 because I have question marks about Sam Darnold. I have question marks about Christian McCaffrey and whether he can be successful without Cam Newton as his quarterback, as a primary distraction on the offense. So that's why I have the Carolina Panthers at 13. What about you, AK?
I got the Lions at 13. The reason that I get the Lions over the Jets is, I know golf has been bad, but he still has experience. Pretty sure they still have Marvin Jones Jr. as a wide receiver. That's correct. So I mean, they still have a weapon. And my guy, Jonathan Adams Jr. They got him as an undrafted free agent this year. He's going to be amazing for them. He's 6'4", 225 pounds, something like that. He's kind of Calvin Johnson. And it's funny, I was set it the whole offseason, and then Detroit goes out and picks him up. Why is that? Well, he reminds him of Calvin Johnson. You can find a second coming of Calvin Johnson. You take it? I would. Now, like I said, that's why I put the Jets at 14 because of Wilson. He's not proven. They're halfback, the Lions halfback. Swift. He had a good year last year. He did great. He did pretty decent for a rookie. There's more proven guys on the Lions than there are on the Jets. That's why they have to be at 13 for me.
Got you. Okay. So, Vic, who do you have at 13?
I had the Jets because the reason why I didn't have them last is because just that Robert Saleh and that coaching staff. and the guy who's running the team. You got Joe Douglas back there. I think that they have less talent than the Lions, but that coaching staff will win them games. The team itself won't do anything. That coaching staff will win games. So I got the Jets at the 13th spot.
Oh, the hell? Huh, that was weird. Let me turn it off. All right. My bad, guys. Sorry about that. All right, so what's going on, Matt Weeks? Thank you for checking into the live stream. We appreciate you. Let's see. Richie MC said, "Did you get time to read my latest lengthy comment? The starters being held out until yes, I did, and I actually mentioned that earlier in the live stream. We were talking. We went over that earlier, and yes, I did mention that, and I appreciate you giving me that lengthy comment because I enjoyed hearing your perspective on that for sure. Thank you, Richie. Much appreciated. Jinx Wolf, what's going on? Thank you for checking in. Yes, sir. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Let's see. The King said Hertz did not impress me last year, and you guys did not bring in any guys except Smith, but he can be double teamed. Okay. Well, you know what? You
How's he
haven't.
going to be double teamed? You got to explain yourself. Because if you're saying he's going to be double teamed, you're not even accounting everyone else on the field. So you're automatically going to double team Smith. You're going to leave a receiver open. If you're going to leave a comment, you got to explain yourself.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah.
Of course, you got to have two corners that can keep up with them, too.
Yeah.
I hope you have that.
Exactly. Facts. 100%. And yeah, shout out to the general. Billy Fresh was in the building a little while ago. Salute to you.
That.
Yes, sir. Yodat. Yep. All right. So let's see here. So at number 12, that's where I have the Jets. The reason why I have them there is because I think Saul is going to make them, a more of a defensive dominant team and not put too much pressure on Zach Wilson and that offense. Hopefully, if things go right, I'm thinking that, they for them to be successful, Zach Wilson and company is not going to have to put up, too much points. So, yeah, that's why I got the Jets at 12. So, Vic, who do you have at 12?
At 12, I got the Panthers. Pretty much the same reason you mentioned. Sam Darnold. He's a big question mark. Now, I'm not as down as many people on Darnold. I think he came into a bad situation going to the Jets. I think anyone going to the Jets under that coaching regime was going into a bad situation. So you got to take what he did those couple of seasons with a grain of salt. Coming into Carolina, he got a decent team around him. He got some good receivers in Roby Anderson. I can't forget Samuels. I don't remember his first name, but I know there's Samuels out there. He has a better team around him. It doesn't seem like Carolina is all the way confident in him. So that kind of leads you to question on how good that team really is, because it shows that they're still searching for what they want. They're still looking for, I want to say, like their imprint. They want to get their stamp of approval on it. And Sam Darnold was the best option available at the time. Teddy Bridgewater couldn't handle it. So they just needed someone. And they didn't want to be left out in the cold, and Sam Darnold was available. So that's why I got to leave him at that number 12 spot.
Got you. Okay. So, AK, who do you got at 12?
Falcons. And, we kind of established that on Birdman thing on Wednesday, when we had that Atlanta guy in there, The only reason I give Falcons a nod over the Lions and the Jets is because of Matt Ryan. He's experienced. Whether we want to admit it or not, he's been one of the brighter quarterbacks of his decade. He's done some good things. Now he has done some bad things, but he's done. I'd say, in my opinion, he's done more good than bad. So, but you still have Kyle Pitts there. He's a rookie. I know a lot of people have high ceiling for him, but how long until that actually takes effect? Is it going to be instant? Is it going to take him a year to kind of get in the groove? Who's your halfback? Who's your defense? I mean, Keanu Neal left you for Dallas. That's a shitty thing. Like that's terrible, bro. Somebody left you for Dallas. Like, put that together. So like I said, they're not as bad, but they're just as bad as the Lions and Jets. I mean, right there, that's probably your first almost 3 picks right there. Jets, Lions, Falcons. Of the draft next year. I'm not even playing. I don't expect the Falcons to get more than probably 5 or 6 wins this year.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I could see that too. Definitely. So we're not too far apart there. So at 11, this is where I have the Denver Broncos, and the reason why I have the Denver Broncos at 11 is because neither of these quarterbacks scare me, Bridgewater or Locke, and is Melvin Gordon is he gonna ever fully blossom into what he was, with the Chargers in Denver, or is he just going to continue to kind of be that average running back? That's why I have the Denver Broncos at 11. What about you, Vic?
No, I got the Broncos at the same spot. Teddy Gloves, man. He's out
Hey,
there.
we got a three-peat.
All right.
Yeah, man. I think you got to give Teddy something, though. He's a good quarterback. He's a great backup quarterback. He's a game manager. The reason why I put him there is because of Denver's receivers. They have a talented group. You got KJ Hamlin. You got Jerry Jeudy. I think they could carry him. They can carry the deficiencies of that defense, even though it's a Vic Fangio defense. That defense is still horrible. They can carry it out, but they're not good enough to get anywhere past that spot, the number 11 spot.
Got you. Okay. Anything you want to add to that since we had a three-peat? AK?
I know a lot of people are kind of high on Denver's defense. Like, there's some people out there that actually think Denver is going to be actually pretty decent this year. And I agree with Vic. Bridgewater is a game manager. That's what he does. He's not who he was in Minnesota anymore. He's a guy that you can effectively put in as QB1 to run an offense and just do that. He's not going to give you all the wild plays anymore. He's not going to, blow the scoreboard up, but he will make it to where you will be in the game damn near every time. Because he won't mess up like most people. If it's not there, it doesn't normally fit. He won't force situations. So it is a good thing. Like you said, they have KJ Hamler, they have Jerry Jeudy, and then they have their big dude that didn't play at all last year. What's his name? Help me out, Vic.
I can't remember. That's why I didn't mention because I didn't remember him.
Starts with a C. Oh, okay. Yeah, it starts with a C. I think his last name starts with C.
Cortland Finnegan. Cortland.
Yeah. Finnegan?
Yeah.
It was Cortland.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good too. So I'm worried about the defense. Von Miller's getting old. He's not Von Miller anymore. He's effective, but he still is not Von Miller from the old days. Chubb's coming off that injury from last year. And I know they got who was it? Which corner did they get this year? In the draft.
They got Broncos got
I'm trying to think which one it was.
Yeah.
You got to pull that one up because I could only think it was Asante Samuel Jr. and he went to the Chargers.
I'll find it in a second here. Well, they got
Patrick Surtain.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, I don't know who their second one is, though. I don't know who their CB2 is, but I mean, this defense does have some holes, but they are good though too. So I just gotta have them at 11, man, because they're iffy. They really are.
I got you. Yeah. So yeah, we were all in agreement on we were all had the Broncos at number 11. So that was interesting. It's at number 10. This is where I have the Las Vegas Raiders because John Gruden doesn't
2 in a
scare
row, baby.
as a head coach, and neither does Derek Carr as the quarterback. Yeah, they have a pretty good running back, but their offensive line is questionable. They don't really have any receivers, and their defense is I don't even know. So that's why I got the Las Vegas Raiders at 10. What do you think, Vic? What do you got at 10?
Listen, at 10, I got the shit show that we call the New York goddamn Giants. Come on, you can't get them any higher than 10. You have a melee going on in the second week of practice. You got the team running laps. You have your quarterback at the bottom of the pile. You have teams. It looks like the team isn't really behind the coach at the moment. The coaches on the coaching staff do not seem like they're behind the coach at the moment. The only thing they have going for them is their defensive coordinator. And will he be there after this season? So yeah, the Giants, they're locked in at number 10.
Okay. I like your reasoning for it, and hey, I'm not going to argue with you on that, and I don't have them too much further down the list. So yeah, I like it. AK, who do you got at 10?
I'm with you. I got the Raiders, man. I'm right there with you as well. You know, Derek Carr, just crappy he went to the Raiders, you know. He actually could be a pretty decent quarterback probably somewhere else, you know, but they got rid of 3 offensive linemen this offseason. That's not good. You know, Henry Ruggs has not turned out to be what he is or was supposed to be yet. That remains to be seen. I like Hunter Renfro. I really think Renfro is going to have a big season this year for him. You know, especially if they put him in the slot again, like they did his rookie year. You know, Jacobs, good. Cannot say anything bad about that kid. You know, defensively, kind of weak there, I'd say. You know, 10's a good place for them, man. They still got a lot of work to do. And in fact, I honestly put John Gruden in the hot seat this year. If he does not fucking win, he's gone, bro. Like, you've had 5 years and you've done shit. Do you really think that he's going to give him 5 more years to do nothing? You're like wasting away everything at this point.
Agreed. You know, and if he does, then he's even stupider than I think he is. And I'm talking about Mark Davis when it comes to the decision of extending John Gruden. Because I guess if you're happy having a big name,
Him and his Dennis the Menace haircut.
Well, I was about to say, you can't question his intelligence when you got that bowl cut. All that damn money.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He got the Dennis the Menace hairstyle going on, man.
Yeah, like, come on, man. We're a billionaire. We can't get a nice cut.
Right.
A little 2 on the top of those fades.
Hey, he must like it, I guess. He must like it. Somebody's telling him it looks good.
He dresses like a homeless guy, bro. No lie. Like,
He's just saving his money on the wrong thing.
I would think a billionaire owner would own better mirrors. You know, I would think he would.
Right? Exactly.
But you didn't see him at the UFC fight. The last one, it was the McGregor fight. He was smooth. He had the all white. It's just that bowl cut messes everything up.
Yeah, definitely. I
He
don't
needs to start doing that more often, man.
Mark, if you watch it, holler at me. I'll get you a better barber. I swear to God.
So at number that's funny though. He definitely needs some help with his hair for sure. That's at number 9.
Makeover?
At number 9, that's where I have the Atlanta Falcons. And the reason why I have them there is because they really don't have a running back of anything to speak of. And Matt Ryan doesn't scare me. I was really debating on putting them ahead of the Raiders at number 10, but I have the Falcons at number 9. And yeah, they got Kyle Pitts, but he doesn't really have who's going to throw the ball to him on a consistent basis. I don't think it's going to be Ryan. So it's going to be a while before Kyle Pitts is going to be able to really truly show us what he can do. So Vic, who do you have at number 9?
I got the Raiders, man, at number 9. The reason why I have them here is because the defense is non-existent, and it's sad because a lot of people are down on Derek Carr. I actually like Derek Carr. I think he's a decent quarterback. I like his attitude. I like what he brings to a team. I like the way he leads his team. He's been going through a lot. Look at the horrible coaches he's been through. And with everyone, you have to admit, he's succeeded. He hasn't been the best, but he's succeeded with each coach. He tries his best to get this team where they need to be. And it's only a hindrance that, he has the owner that he has. John Gruden and Mayock, they've done a pretty horrible job so far. Everyone had Howard thinking he was the draft guru. Henry Ruggs, okay, that's a decent pick, but what's coming up? What has he done? He's been injured. I understand that, but he hasn't really proved himself. The Raiders' offense, though, it's fairly decent. They're a horrible line. They have a great running back. I love Jacobs. You got Darren Waller. That's probably one of the best tight ends. He's questionably number 2, number 1. I don't want to get in that argument. He's up there. And like AK mentioned, you got Hunter Renfrow. I mentioned Ruggs. They have a decent team. They have potential in the offense. Now it's all up to the coach to bring the best out of it. And I don't know if he's the right guy to do it. And the sad thing is, a lot of people are saying, he has 5 years left. He's gonna, I don't want to say play, but he's gonna coach those 5 years out. He got 10 seasons. He's gonna do 10 seasons. He's gonna make that money.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm glad you have faith in him.
Oh, there's no faith. I just know Mark Davis. You got to think about who he is. He's a man who's very comfortable. We talked about his hairstyle. He's a man who is very comfortable, and his team is still making money. Because let's be honest, the Raiders aren't a rich team. Mark Davis is really a rich man. They depend on the Raiders, just like the Bengals depend on their team. The Brown fans depend on the Bengals. That's their moneymaker. So as long as the income
I
is
understand what you're saying, my guy, but you got to look at it this way too. Jack Del Rio did way better than John Gruden, and they got rid of Jack Del Rio. So don't think for 1 minute he ain't going to fire John Gruden if he ain't fucking winning.
But like I said, Jack Del Rio wasn't selling tickets in Las Vegas. They needed a big name. They have a huge stadium. They're in Las Vegas. They're starting something that no other NFL team does. They needed some attention, and John Gruden was the right guy.
Yeah, and he has more.
Yeah, well, they got what they wanted now. He can move on. They got what they wanted. They're in Vegas now. You can fire him next month, and they got what they wanted. They don't need him anymore.
Well, the 10-year contract was just ridiculous. That was the issue. The 10-year contract. John Gruden isn't anything. He isn't better than any other coach that's won a Super Bowl. He got lucky because he actually took a Tony Dungy team and got that championship ring. Let's be honest. So they put too much behind Gruden. Again, that 10-year contract was an idiotic move. I don't know any other GM or owner that would approve that aside of Mark Davis. So they're in the position they are because of their owner. They're happy. They're complacent. No one else is going to do anything about it.
Well, that's okay, man. Yeah, that's fine because you know what? You're another co-host on here now, so you know what? Later down the road, I can be like, "I told you so." It's okay. I'll get everything. We're good.
I mean, the relationship between Mark Davis and John Gruden is a lot like the relationship of Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett. And the reason why I say that is because they kind of let the mom goggles, so to speak, cloud their vision, and the personal relationship gets in the way of the business relationship. And I think that's kind of where Vic's going, is because, Jack Del Rio did do better than John Gruden with the Raiders, but he's not in Vegas, and big names sell tickets. And when you got a big name like John Gruden as your head coach, yeah, you're going to swallow the losing a little bit, especially if you're still putting your butts in the seats, I should say. And I agree with you, AK. Gruden should be gone sooner than later, more than likely in Vegas. But Mark Davis is the one that he controls all that, and I think he's going to keep him around. He's going to err to the side of keeping him around as opposed to getting rid of him.
Now, see, that's my only argument, though. You say it's because of the relationship being close.
Absolutely.
Well, Doug was very close to Jeffrey Lurie. They're family friends. The Lauries and the Petersons are family friends. And Jeffrey fired him without any problem at all. Just because you have a relationship with someone does not mean you are not on the hot seat. You know, in the end, it is about winning. For instance, you think for 1 minute that Vegas is going to let the Raiders lose and become Oakland? No. It's about winning. When you made that move to go to Las Vegas, you made that move to win. You didn't make it to lose. Vegas is not going to deal with losers. I'm sorry, it's fucking Vegas. You know, even though you go there and blow your money and lose money, they don't want to lose in the franchise. You know, they paid all that money for that brand new stadium and stuff.
Let me just point one thing out when you mentioned Jeffrey Lurie. Jeffrey Lurie and Mark Davis are more of the same than you think. Because why do you think Howie Roseman's still here? He has a very close relationship with Howie Roseman, and that's the only reason that keeps him here. If it wasn't for that relationship, Howie would have gone. He would have never came back.
Well, we're not talking about GMs though right now. We're talking about.
I'm just saying how they are, how the owners are. Like they're very complacent, like you said. They build relationships and they have them. They get very complacent. They rather have the relationship continue than just making the smart decision, saying, "Hey, we're going to have to end this business relationship. We can still have our other relationship on the side, but this one we're going to have to end because it's not working out." They seem to have an issue.
The only reason I say Howie's still here though is there's something deeper into that. It's not just because he's good. There's something deeper into why Howie has survived 3 head coaches. It's not the fact that he's good. It's not the fact that he likes him. It's not the fact that he's a friend. There's something a lot deeper than that, man. I don't know what it is. None of us do. I mean, hell, you see the comments. You know, does he have photos of him or something? You know, I don't know. There's something a lot fucking deeper that goes into Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. Way more complicated than what any of us know. You know, I don't see that there with Gruden and Davis. I don't, because it's like, yeah, they're friends and all that, but in the end, dude, I'm sorry. It doesn't. It's not my fucking team. I don't even care. He can stay around for 2 years. I don't care.
No, but I think I get what you're saying. I just think that I think the personal relationship with Davis and Gruden goes a little bit further than the one of Lurie and Peterson, and I say that because Gruden goes back to when Al used to own the Raiders. You know, before Al died, and he was their head coach before his dad died, and when he still owned the team. So there's a lot of personal, feelings as well that are getting mixed in to the fray as in that relationship.
Well, didn't Doug play for Jeffrey Lurie though as a backup quarterback? Was he not a coach here for a long time too before he moved on? So there's a personal connection there as well.
He was a backup quarterback, but you got to look at it this way. John Gruden was the only man that Al Davis really respected in football. He was the one mistake that Al Gruden had and really regretted. He never wanted to let Gruden go. He respected him, and they had a close relationship. And you got to look at it this way: if the one man that your dad trusted and relied on is available, and I don't know what it is to lose a father. I can't say, but you got to think about it. If you lose him, and that was the number one guy in your life, and this was the guy that he always looked out, that he always talked about, I think when you're looking for a head coach, that might be the first guy you call.
Yeah, but I mean, don't forget, he didn't win in fucking Oakland.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, I know that.
He's never won in Oakland. He's never won in Oakland, and that means.
But again, that Oakland team did go to the Super Bowl the next year. That wasn't a Callahan team. That was a Gruden team.
No.
It's gonna take. In my opinion, it's gonna take a disastrous couple of seasons for Gruden to not, probably more than likely play out that contract in Vegas. But I mean, anyways, AK, who did you have at number 9?
Panthers at 9.
Okay.
And like I said, there's still some talented guys on that Panthers team, man. I can't. the respect for the Panthers. I can't put them below the Raiders, Broncos, Falcons, and Jets. You know, they still got Christian McCaffrey. I'm not a big Sam Darnold fan, but I mean, Sam Darnold's shown some flashes. So, you know, I'm with you though. What's McCaffrey without Newton? You know, we're going to find out. But their defense is also, you know, but like I said, from a respect level, I have them at 9 because I just think more highly of them than the other ones below.
I got you. Okay. All right. So at number 8, this is where I have Danny Pesos and the New York Crybaby Giants. And yeah, he's a big reason why I have them at number 8. And you know, the offensive line to me that was not addressed. And if they're going to lean on Saquon, good luck behind that offensive line because defenses are going to be putting extra guys in the box and you know, basically putting the challenge out there for Pesos to beat them. And I just don't see that happening on a consistent basis. So that's why I got the Giants at 8. What do you have at 8, Vic?
I got the Saints. With the loss of Drew Brees, you got Jameis Winston, who I believe they're looking at as the starter at the moment. I don't think it was outright said that he is, but I think the way they're preparing is that he is the starter. Listen, you don't have your number one receiver in Thomas. You don't have Drew Brees anymore. You do have Alvin Kamara. That's a bright spot. But you have an aging offensive line. You have an aging defense. Although they are good, you know what I mean? They're not going to get any better than what they are now. And I don't really trust much in Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston. He couldn't even get out you seen that drill he was running? Well, running back drill, he couldn't even get out the little machine, whatever you want to call that. He got smacked back. Could you imagine that happening in the game? He looked like Mark Sanchez with a butt fumble.
Well, what's more embarrassing, the butt fumble or Danny Pesos tripping over his own damn shoelaces? I don't know.
No, I got one more, even more embarrassing, and this happened to Mark Sanchez, which is so sad. If you remember when he played with USC, he had a horrible ACL injury. That was caused by a referee who just straight checked him. He was running, and the ref did not move and straight checked him, and he damaged his ACL that way. That's what took him out. I want to say it was his junior season.
That's crazy. I'll have to go try to find footage on that. That's interesting. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, getting taken out by the ref, literally. Okay, so let's see here. So, AK, who do you have at 8?
I'm with him. I got the Saints, man. You know, yeah, I am not a Jameis Winston guy. Like, I laugh every time somebody brings up his name. You know, you want me to be threatened of a guy who threw 30 touchdowns to 30 interceptions?
Wait, who'd you say?
And what, you want to sit there and say, oh, he had LASIK surgery. Okay, that fixed
Winston?
something. Huh?
Did you say Jameis Winston?
Yeah, he came out like, 4 months ago and said, I'm the best quarterback in the NFL right after he had LASIK surgery. I'm like, bro, if you knew your eyes were shitty back in the day, why didn't you get them fixed then? Why did you wait till now? You know, like, I don't see fixing this man's eyes fixing his mechanics. I'm sorry. Like, Jameis Winston is a bust, and I'm not scared of him. You know, yeah, they do have Alvin Kamara. You know, he's still a threat. Michael Thomas is injured right now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, he was injured a lot last year, so God knows how that's going to work out. They lost Emmanuel Sanders, so they don't have him anymore. You know, they lost Davenport, they lost Lattimore. This is not the same defense as last year, and we beat that defense. You know, so, man, they really got screwed by COVID. Like, because I believe they were like $90 million over the cap. So they had to cut a lot of people. And that was that's why they're 8, man. And that's why they're gonna have down the season this year. Because of COVID, honestly.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean and I have the Saints at 7. So we're really close with that one. And yeah, like you guys said, everything was factual, 100% about Jameis Winston. And yeah, Kamara's not going to be able to do it by himself, especially with Michael Thomas out. That's going to be tough for them. I think their defense is still going to be good, and Sean Payton's he's going to keep them competitive. But the Saints are going to. I think on paper right now they're definitely more beatable than they have been in the past, and they're getting a little older, things like that. So yeah, that's why I have the Saints at 7. I think there's a that's going to be it's going to be one of those kind of for us this year. I think it's going to be kind of a 50-50 game depending on injuries, things like that. But I like our chances definitely better with with a Drew Breesless Saints than I do with them having that Hall of Famer behind center. So who do you have at number 7? And speaking of 7, shout out to the 7 in the live stream right now. Thank you guys for being with us. We appreciate you joining this episode of East Meets West with my co-host VICK3 and down below me, AK Eagles of Eagles Uncensored. If you haven't done so, make sure you guys go sub up AK Eagles channel, Eagles Uncensored, and let's get him to 200 sooner than later because he's been working hard and he deserves more subscribers. So his link is down below in the description of this live stream. So make sure you click on that. Make sure you're all subscribed and turn on the notification bell and all that good stuff. Yeah, Vic, who do you got at 7?
At 7, I got the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I heard you say before there's a lot of improvement on the team. I actually like the Falcons. Defense, of course, we've seen it past year. Even with Dan Quinn, they were nothing. Arthur Smith is what intrigues me the most, from offensive coordinator from Tennessee. If you know anything about him and his family, they're a bunch of gamblers. Their dad literally got FedEx on a gambling game. I mean, they're all about putting things on the line and letting things ride. I heard you mention before about Matt Ryan. Yeah, he's had, I would say, since that Super Bowl, he's been on a serious decline. But the thing is, now he doesn't have Julio Jones, which people think that's a negative, but I see it as a positive because now he isn't just solely throwing it to one person. He has a tight end now in Pitts that he hasn't had since Tony Gonzalez. So I see Matt Ryan spreading the ball more because you got Coleman, you have Ridley. I think Atlanta's offense is going to improve. It is true that they do have a question mark at running back. They don't have anyone now. But I think Smith will overcome those deficiencies, and the Atlanta offense will be better than people think.
Okay.
We'll see. That's why I had him at. Man, that's another reason why I'm at 12, man. Because I need to see if Smith can do it without Derrick Henry. I mean, let's all be honest. Smith looked good because he had Derrick Henry. Now I need to see if he can do it without him. So.
He helped out a lot with Ryan Tannehill, and look at how he turned out.
Ryan Tannehill was good before he went to the fucking Titans, bro. He was good in fucking Miami. Miami just used him wrong. Don't even start. I've been behind Tannehill for a long fucking time, guy. When he was even at Miami. Miami fucked Tannehill up. That's their fault.
Did. I can't argue with that, but you got to look at Tannehill's first 3 seasons. He was horrible. He's progressed every year, and he's shined.
They look good because of Derrick Henry. They have Derrick Henry. That is the reason why Tennessee is good, man.
Well,
when you have a guy, a free athlete like Derrick Henry, everything fucking works. Everything works.
Well, we're really about to see what's going to go on now because they got Julio Jones. So, do you need
exactly? I have Tennessee taking the whole thing. That whole division is Tennessee by far. Hands down.
Now with Wentz out, yeah.
Well, there is no competition at the
even with Wentz.
Yeah.
Even with Wentz playing.
Okay.
I can't disagree with that.
but that's my thing. I have to make sure Arthur Smith can do it without Derrick Henry. If he can do it without Derrick Henry this year, then by far, hell yes, he deserves that. But I need to see it first. I just can't give him that when he had Derrick Henry for the last 3 years, 4 years. Like that's a huge thing. That's like fucking having Barry Sanders, man. You know what I mean? Like
Detroit, they do know what Barry Sanders is.
That's a crazy talent. You know what I mean?
So we're at number 6. We're at 6, right?
Yeah, we're at 6.
7. Oh, 7. I introduced my 7.
That's right,
I
yeah.
interrupted myself. Number 7, I have Dallas. And the only reason I have Dallas over the Saints is because I will take Dak over Winston. Now, they're going to get all their points and their wins from their offense.
The
They're
Saints
not going to get it from
so
the
much
defense.
better though.
Huh?
The Saints defense is so much better though.
Yeah, but their offense isn't. And that's why I said I will take Dak over Winston any day.
I
And I
got you.
can't believe I'm saying that. But that's the only reason Dallas is over the Saints, because of their offense. Like I said, they're all younger. They're not hurt. Like Thomas is hurt. You know, they lost Emmanuel Sanders, blah, blah, blah. So I just got to give it to Dallas on the offensive side of the ball more. Yes, Saints will be better defensively, but offensively, Dallas will be better than the Saints.
I
And
got
I
you.
hate saying that.
I know it pains us to say anything good about the cow turds. But so at number 6, that's where I have number 6 is where I have the football team. I think that if Fitzpatrick is able to stay healthy, that he can get enough out of the offense to be competitive with how good their defense is going to be, because like I said before, that defensive line is going to make up for the deficiencies on the back end. And I think that defense is still going to continue to be a very, very strong unit for the football team. So that's why I have them as the 6th strongest opponent on our schedule. What about you, Vic?
I'm gonna put the Chargers. The Chargers are a very intriguing team.
At 6? I want to hear
man.
on that.
Well, the reason why I had the Chargers again is because there's a lot of unknowns, with the coaching staff. Yeah,
Man, you really wanted confrontation in this channel. You weren't playing when you
I
you told me
that. I wasn't. I was gonna put Dallas in there, but like I said, I put San Diego instead because of the fact that their receivers are constantly injured. You have their defense. The number one guy on defense is coming back from injury himself, so there are some question marks. Again, the new coaching regime coming in looks like they're going to get this offense where it needs to be, but there's too many question marks. We haven't seen much. I believe in the quarterback and Justin Herbert, most definitely. Again, Keenan Allen, man, that's an all timer right there. But again, running, what's going on with that? Again, that's another position that's constantly injured. There's too many question marks. On paper, yeah, they look great, but when you really look at it, they have some issues.
I got you. Okay. I like I like your your reasoning on it. So what do you think about AK? What do you think about that? And who do you have at 6?
Number 6 for me is the Giants, man. They got a good defense. They got Galladay. They got Sterling, Shepard. They got Slayton. Saquon's a big reason for this as well. Like I said, he's a Penn State guy, and nothing he can do. I watched him all 4 years there.
They drafted Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, they got Tony. Bradbury's there. Like I said, Peppers. They got Martinez, and they even got Williams. The defensive tackle. So I mean, they got a good team, man. It's just their only hiccup is fucking Shitty Jones. So but other than that,
that's a pretty big.
They got a pretty decent team. Yeah.
I mean, that's a big ass hiccup.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah, I mean, he's garbage.
Oh no, they got a good team. I won't mind. I do.
Yeah, we're gonna see what Danny Dumpster can do this year, because there's no more excuses. He's got some weapons around him, and yeah, if he doesn't show any promise this year, then I don't see anything. I don't see it happening in either way. But yeah, so at number 5, that's where I have the Dallas Cowboys. With Dak being hurt, with Zeke being, he looks like he's leaner, but is that really going to take the wear and tear off of his legs from being used so much, in college and now in the NFL? And their defense, yeah, they have a strong linebacking core, but their defensive line's not that great, and their secondary is definitely beatable. So yeah, that's why I have the Cowboys at 5. What do you got at 5, Vic?
I got Dallas also. You know, you got to take a look at it. The defense, as you mentioned before, not anything to be afraid of. But if Dak can come back and overcome this injury, their offense is pretty good. I'm not going to say that they're great. They're pretty good. They have a lot of potential because Zeke isn't what he used to be. Let's be honest. Tony Pollard's playing way better. I don't care if Dallas Cowboys fans are mad and they say he's not. That's the honest truth. Pollard plays better than your guy Zeke. Um, they have a talented wide receiver group. You know what I mean? You can't discount it. You got Cooper, you got Lamb, you got the other bum out there, but they're pretty good. Now, the reason why I have them here is all depending on if Dak can overcome that injury. And another reason why I put him up so high is because it's a division game. It's a little different to say, someone outside division. When it's a division game, there's more competition. It's a fierce game. It's a heated game. So, in Dallas, let's be honest, they gave us trouble sometimes. You got to give them the 5 spot.
I got you. Okay. AK, what do you think? Who do you got at 5?
This is the Washington football team for me, man. And I'm not going to cut. All they need is a quarterback, bro. Like, I've said it already. You put Deshaun Watson on the Washington football team, they're Super Bowl bound. They got a great defense. Scary Terry. They got Gibson. They got a good line. They got a good defensive line. They got a good secondary. Like, this team is ready to fucking win. The only reason that's putting them back is fucking this. And I'm not going to lie about that. If you put Deshaun Watson on the Washington football team right now, they become very disgusting. And in fact, they probably win the division hands down. So, this team is very good. I know that. Like I said, against us, though, we have a pretty decent – well, we have a top 3 offensive line, easy, when everyone's healthy. So I don't see them being effective towards us. But the other teams are a nightmare. So, yeah, man, I have to put them at 5 because, a quarterback away, man, and they're probably one of the most deadliest teams in the NFC East. So.
Got you. Okay. So let me throw this question out to you guys real quick. Since he brought up the W word in Watson, if for some reason we pull out this trade, does he make us Super Bowl contenders right away? I'll let Vic go first.
Are you saying if he's able to play and all this is taken care of?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. You can't deny that Watson's an exceptional talent. I mean, what he does on the field is special. Houston, was a horrible team, but he made them a whole lot better just himself. He carry a team not to a Super Bowl. He can't do it by himself. We see that because if he could, Houston would already be there. But if you have some decent pieces around him, yeah, he can take you far.
Okay.
But let's be honest, this isn't going to go away. Watson is going to get in trouble. He will be suspended. And with, like I mentioned before, 22 civil cases and 10 legal, it's kind of hard to even want to consider where he's going to next. Let this man focus on the issue that's in front of him now. Worry about football later. That should be his number one, thought. Let's get this taken care of. Let's clear up my name. Who cares about football right now? And if that's where his head's at, that's not where I want him right now. Because again, I want him to be free and clear of any distraction. And there are 32 distractions on Deshaun Watson's mind right now.
AK, what do you think about this topic?
No, he does not. You laugh like all you want, but he doesn't, man.
Oh no, I thought you were saying no. It's not coming over.
Oh, no, he doesn't though. I mean, honestly, man, like you had the best receiver in the NFL. for 4 years. You couldn't get it done. Yeah, I know, Vic. He didn't have a defense. He didn't have this. He didn't have that. But you know what? If you're elite, man, sometimes you don't need it. You can make even some of the wackiest people look good. You know, like for instance, you look at Aaron Rodgers, the only people that he has is Jones and Adams. One halfback, one wide receiver. You know, the other two, they're just decent, but he makes them better because he is a better quarterback. Watson isn't that, man. I'm sorry. Like, in my eyes, Watson plays for Watson. He doesn't play for the team. You know, it's just about him. And we don't need that mentality here. You know, and we both agree on that because me and you, Vic, we talked about that. You know, the way everything's going down like that, we don't need that in this locker room. You know, we just got over the drama from last year and shit. You know, we don't need to bring a whole new damn issue into this locker room. And, you know, everything, the water's calm right now. You know, there isn't no wave, there isn't no hiccup in it. You know, nothing. That's the way this needs to be.
I got you. So I want to, AK, I want to ask you this then too. So you know, you said that. So then what are we missing as the Eagles? What are we missing that the football team has? Why does he make them a Super Bowl contender and not us?
You know, because Watson fits Washington. I mean, we all know what Dan Snyder is. All right, we all know what their head coach is. Ron Rivera, he's good. And not just that, but they have a lot of egos in that room. He's just another ego. Philadelphia is not building that, man. Like, you know, there's certain swag that you can have at certain franchises that you can't have at others. You know, like Cam Newton would not fit good in Philly. I think we can all agree to that. His ego and his swagger is just. I'm not a Cam Newton. Maybe I'm just wrong on that. I don't know, but it's too much of just it's him, you know. And that's why I said he doesn't fit our culture. He fits Washington's because they're all about me. We're about us.
I got you. Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. So the you know, I think there's a better chance of all three of us winning the lottery than Deshaun Watson being traded to any team, and that includes our Philadelphia Eagles at this point. And it all has to do with, like Vic said, the continued legal drama, the legal issues. All that is a black cloud over his head. It is a dark cloud over his head right now, and it's I don't think it's anything that any organization in the NFL is going to be wanting to take on at this point. So I don't, you know, they can keep talking about it. The media can keep clickbaiting it all they want, but I think we know that it's hurt season. They can keep saying, yeah, oh, they haven't come out and named him the starter. Well, you know what? If I was Nick Sirianni, I wouldn't be naming him. I wouldn't name him the starter until I absolutely had to, because when you do that,
they don't have to.
Exactly.
They don't have to. Jeffrey Lurie already did it. Why does anyone need to say it? Jeffrey Lurie already came out 2 months ago and said that he's the starter. We're going with Jalen Hurts this year. Why does Nick need to say anything? You already heard it 2 months ago from the fucking owner of the Eagles. How many more people do you need to hear it from?
Right.
And the thing is, it's the media that's making a big thing out of it, because if you were to really ask Hurts, he wouldn't give a shit. And the reason why Sirianni's doing it is because, like, he's been mentioning since he's been here, he wants to create a culture of competition. You're not going to get anything for free. Again, barring the special teams, because we all know there's no competition on special teams. But when it comes to the quarterback position, he wants you to earn that position. So I'm not going to name you my starter. You need to earn it, just like with trust.
Yeah, but we know all who it is. We all know who it's
it's the unwritten rule kind of thing, where we all know what's going on. We just don't talk about it. We all know Jalen Hurts is our starter. We all know we're going to put everything into him this season. There's no reason to just flat out say it. What's the point?
And it's part of playing. It's part of playing chess as a head coach too, right? You don't want to name your starter, because then you're giving the opposing defense the exact person who to game plan against. If you can
But, I
keep,
mean, it's not hard to figure it out, though, my guy.
It's not.
Like, fucking
not,
Jalen
but-
Hurts or Joe Flacco, everybody's going to be planning for Jalen Hurts. No one's planning for Joe Flacco.
Well, the thing is, it's not hard to figure out, and it's everyone knows what it is. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you got to sell papers. You got to get your name out there, and you need clicks. So you need attention. So you got to create these stories, and that's all these are. These are creations.
Yeah. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. And I'm sure there's going to be lots more to come. You know, they're not done in the least bit. And you know, I guess it gives us more things to talk about. It continues to, you know, it's just smoke and mirrors. We all know that. And you know, as far as our back to our opponent list, you know, at number 4, that's where I have the 49ers. You know, they're getting a lot of their defense back, and yes, they did just draft a rookie quarterback, but I'm a big believer in Kyle Shanahan. You know, I think he's going to right the ship and get them back in contention. And yeah, their division is going to be really competitive this year. I have the Rams winning that division, but I think the 49ers could easily sneak in as a wild card this year. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they added a wild card, so there's going to be an extra one this year. That's going to be interesting to see as well. But yeah, that's why I have the 49ers as our 4th toughest opponent this year. Vic, what do you think? Who's at number 4 for you, my guy?
I got the Washington football team at number 4. The reason why is because we mentioned them throughout the whole show today. It's the Washington defense, that front 4. You know, AK, you were mentioned before, they're not that great. They're not that great. But the thing is, they cover up so many deficiencies for that team, not just on the defense side of the ball, the offensive side of the ball, because they're actually, you know, keeping that score down. They're keeping the offense in the game. So they have to get that 4th spot, because you got to think about it too. Yeah, we all joke about Fitzmagic, but we don't know which one we're going to get, because let's be honest, Fitzmagic is an ego killer. He has torched us. So we can't take him lightly. We haven't done anything to say that we can stop him, because we haven't. No iteration of this team has been able to stop Ryan Fitzpatrick. Hopefully now with Sirianni and Gannon, you know, calling the plays, we can. But to this day, we haven't been able to. So I'm not going to take him that lightly. Like I said before, we don't know which Fitzpatrick we're going to get. We can get Fitzpatrick or Fitzmagic. I don't know. But the thing is, with that defense and that offense, let's be honest, it's pretty good. They got a decent running back. They got a good receiving core. They can do some damage. They went pretty far last year with a no-name quarterback. You know what I mean? You got to give them some kind of credit.
No, I hear you. Definitely. AK, what do you got at 4?
Number 4, man, for me, that's where, you know, I got the Chargers at. You know,
Okay.
I told you, man. I was asked a few weeks back, like, if you didn't have Hurts, what was one QB that you would take, you know, from a certain level down? There's only one QB I would take over Jalen Hurts, and that's Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
You know, that is it. That's the only guy I would take over Hurts. And I still stand by that. You know, I know you talked about Keenan Allen and the injuries and stuff, but, you know, the Chargers always find a way, man. They're always competitive. You know, I know Akers is out. That's a big loss to them. But, you know, like I said, the Chargers, man, they're going to be a good team this year. And I like the coaching staff. I like the way they're going, how they're building this team. You know, they're going to be a pretty big force. And I believe Bose is back with a bench because he missed all last year. He's going to be out to kill some people.
Facts. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the Bosa brothers, you know, they're a deadly brother, just like the Watt brothers. So, yeah, I could see your argument there, but that's interesting that you would take Justin Herbert over Patrick Mahomes.
No, Hurts.
Gotcha. Oh, you're saying
I said I would take Herbert over Hurts.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got you. I misheard.
He's the only quarterback. Like, if we could trade for a quarterback right now, and you had any option in the world to take from a certain level down, like Herbert, Mayfield, like those level. Pat Mahomes was not in it. Tom Brady wasn't in it.
I got
Not those guys. Josh Allen. It was like from Herbert down. And between like Herbert and Mayfield and all these guys, it's like no, Herbert. That's the only guy I would take. I wouldn't even take Mayfield over Hurts. And I'm sorry, but I wouldn't.
No,
I don't know how y'all feel about that, but
No, I agree. I wouldn't take him over that either. No.
yeah, I've seen way more out of Justin Herbert in a short amount of time in his rookie year than I have consistently out of Baker Mayfield. So yeah, I would be all on the Herbert train as well. He's going to be a special kid, a special talent in this league. The kid is gifted. So yeah, I could then that's why I have them at the Chargers. I have them as my number 3 toughest opponent this year, and he has a lot to do with that. I think he's going to look even better year 2 in his sophomore year, and he's going to make a lot of the receivers that they have on that team look better than they probably are. So yeah, I have the Chargers as our number 3 toughest opponent. What about you, Vic?
I have the 49ers at number 3. You got to take a look at the players returning on that defense. That defense is, we talked a lot about Washington, but the one team that's better than Washington on defense is the 49ers. And, you got to look at their coach, Kyle Shanahan. That man is a very intelligent coach. He's an offensive genius. Even though they may have an issue at quarterback, they don't know if they want to go with Garoppolo or not. I don't think it matters who they have back there because you got to look at the surrounding talent. You got George Kittle. You got that talented receiving core. Even though some of them are raw, they're still out there doing their thing. So yeah. I would have to give them the edge over the Chargers. That's why I had the Chargers back so far, because Justin Herbert's in year 2 with his second coach. We honestly don't know what could happen. So I'm going to give the edge to San Francisco and put them in the number 3 spot.
Okay. I like your argument. Definitely. So AK, who do you have at 3?
I'm with them. I got the 49ers. That's why I put the 49ers right before the Chargers, because I really like the Chargers and what they got. But guess what? The 49ers got the better defense. And I know a lot of people sit here and they forget, last year they had a down year, but guess what? Their whole fucking defense was injured. Literally, their whole defense, their whole offense. They lost all 3 fucking halfbacks in literally 2 weeks. All 3 of their big stars in 2 weeks. Wilson Jr., what's his face? Oh shit, I had him in fantasy too. Mostert. They lost Mostert, and then the other dude, the third string. He was doing really well, and they lost him too. Jimmy G was injured last year. DeForest Buckner was injured. Like, dude, there were so many injuries, and it's like, this team is coming back healthy. Yeah, they might have lost Richard Sherman, but I'm pretty sure they can find a reliable CB2. And like you guys said, Kyle Shanahan's an amazing coach. He'll figure it out. But this team is going to be disgusting. You only forgot about him last year because of all the injuries and shit. But let's not forget, 2 years ago, these guys were in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, they're 3, hands down.
I got you. Okay, yeah, and I like it because you gave a good argument, and I can't argue. I don't have a good argument back for you. So you did a good job on that one, definitely. So at number 2, this is where I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and yeah, they may be the more balanced team, and they're obviously the defending champions, but the schedule is not favorable for Tom Brady and the Bucs. Obviously we play in a short week too when we play them, but I think that given his age and things like that, the short week possibly could play in our favor, and it could possibly play out to be somewhat of a trap game for the Buccaneers. So that's why I have them as our number 2 most, as our number 2 opponent competitive wise. Vic, what do you think?
I got KC at number 2. Listen, um, Big Red and his squad, as great as they are, they still have deficiencies on the defensive side. Great offense, Patrick Mahomes, God bless him. I mean, the kid is everything you'd expect for your number one quarterback and more. But I think they have some issues because even though they rebuilt their line, those are a couple of guys who had never played together. So you gotta get cohesive. You gotta gel together. So they're gonna go through some growing pains. We got them early on. I think it's week 4, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or week 3.
The Chiefs, it's week 4.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're week 4. So we're still in that time where there still might be some growing pains with that new offensive line. And like I said too, their defense isn't what it used to be either. And it's Big Red, man, but he's not the team that he was. Yeah, they're a year removed from the Super Bowl, but they have a lot coming at them. Their schedule's going to be very tough.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, I like it. I like your reasoning. So who do you have at 2, AK?
You blew my mind with the Bucks thing, bro. That shocked the shit out of me. I won't lie. I did. I was not expecting you to go. I was literally, right before you start, I was going to say, I don't even know why we're saying this because I'm pretty sure we all 3 agree, but
Hey.
wow, did you blow my mind on that one? Yeah, no, I'm with Vic here, man. The Chiefs, one, Frank Clark is coming. So there goes your edge rusher. You lost Fuller. Fuller's gone. So your CB's gone. Yeah, you do have Matthews, so he's getting older. I actually am not a believer in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think this kid is not going to be good at all. That's why they went out and got Le'Veon Bell last year, which actually backfired even more. But they got rid of Hardman, right? They lost one of the wide receivers. Was it Nicole Hardman? Or was it the other guy?
Oh my God, from Buffalo they got rid of. He went to the Ravens. Chat, help me out. Sammy Watkins. There we go.
Yeah. I was going to say, didn't they lose Watkins?
Yeah, Watkins.
Watkins, yeah. All right, but that's the thing, So Clark is definitely the big hit on this one. And like I said, their defense is not as good as the Bucks. Their offense is not as good as the Bucks. Jesus, I'm kidding, man. The Bucks brought back their whole team. I know a lot of people want to sit there and say, well, they got Kels. Yeah, well, they got Gronk. And he started heating up at the end of the year last year. He's coming back. He's only going to get better the more and more he plays. They got AB. They got Mike Evans. They got Godwin. They got Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones. They got Vita Vea. They got JPP. They got White. They got dude. I can keep going. I know this whole fucking team because of my stepson. He does not let me forget every fucking day. Trust me, he doesn't. And I'm just telling you, man, the Chiefs are not. I can't put them at 1. I just can't. There's way too many weapons. So the Bucks are my 1.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's a, and I can see where you're coming from, definitely. But the reason why I have the Chiefs as our number 1 is because, well, the short week had a big reason for why I put the Bucks at 2, but also, with the Chiefs, if we get into any kind of an offensive shootout with them, I don't think we're going to have any chance. And I just don't. I don't know if we can contain all of the weapons they have and be able to keep up offensively with Kansas City. And I just think we have a little bit of better chance of. And I understand what you guys are saying about Kansas City's offensive line, but Andy Reid is usually pretty good at at filling in for where guys when he loses pieces on his offensive lines. He's usually pretty good at recouping that, and I think the offensive line is going to be okay this year. And I just think that if we can get some consistent pressure on Tom Brady, he's more of a statue back there. So Yeah, that's my reasoning.
Listen, the reason why I put Tampa Bay at the number one spot is A, you got to respect the champs. I mean, you can't take that away from them. Two, look at how stacked that goddamn team is.
right?
Every single fucking position, man. It's an embarrassment of riches. You understand what I'm saying? You have the offense run by the great Tom Brady. Even though he wasn't great enough to beat us, got to give the man credit also. We got 6 rings. We got more than Jordan. Oh, excuse me, tied with Jordan. Now, you got to look at their defense stuff. That's the thing. Yeah, their offense is great. You mentioned before, you got the great receivers out there, but look at their linebacking core. Young, physical, strong, fast as all hell. There's no one getting past that. Their defensive line, tough, grizzled, held down by Dominic and Sue. That's a tough defense. Then you got the back end. Come on. That I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna say right here. The Bucks will contend for that Super Bowl championship. They will be in the NFC East championship game. I'm not gonna say that they're gonna win the Super Bowl flat out. They're gonna make the NFC East championship game.
And
That's why I say that they're gonna be our hardest team. I'm not gonna say we're not gonna get a win. We're not gonna flat out. There's a possibility it's any given Sunday. You never know what could happen. But it doesn't look good for us.
I got you. Okay.
Hey, real quick, Vic, what's your Super Bowl prediction for this year? If you had to grab 2 teams right now, who would it be?
If you're putting guns in my head, it's a toss-up with me on NFC. No, I'm saying it's a toss-up between, I honestly believe it's going to be the Packers and the Bucks. AFC is going to be the Bills and the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I can't
my
say specifically,
Super Bowl
but
prediction is Bills versus Packers.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
see it.
I
Yeah.
can't.
No,
Mine would be Tampa Bay versus Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo's a good up-and-coming team. Josh Allen playing good. And that's the one thing I thought about Josh Allen because I thought Carson and him were going to, follow the same trajectory. Carson might be a year older, but they're both from BCS schools. They come in, they prove themselves. The only thing difference between Allen and Wentz is Allen consistently progresses each year. Wentz never did. After
and he don't get injured.
2017, true, but again, that's that's a lot of. With that, I got to give Carson Wentz a little credit because a lot of the times it wasn't his fault. He wasn't expecting to have a guy hit him in the back of the head and take him out of a playoff game. So you can't really put all the injuries on Wentz. A lot of things were circumstances that weren't in his favor. But yeah, I don't see it going the way.
But it's not the defense's fault he's fragile though either.
I'm sorry.
I said it's not the defense's fault he's fragile though either. It's not their fault he can't take a hit.
Yeah, true. But I think the first time he got hurt, wasn't he trying to go for a touchdown against the Rams? That's how he got hurt.
Yeah, he dove in the end zone and he got squished and then his back. I'm not sure where his back came from. That probably came from his leg injury. Using his back too much or something. I don't know. And
this is off topic.
The concussions, but yeah.
And I know Wentz is a side topic, but you got to give the guy credit. Like we were just saying, every injury he had was something that was just wild, out of his control. And that back injury, he played games with a broken back, and no one gives him credit for that. We sit here and say McNabb was one of the toughest quarterbacks because he ended up playing a game against Arizona with a broken ankle. My guy played multiple games with a broken back. You got to give the guy credit for that. Eagles fans, you got to stop.
Well, let's correct that. It wasn't broken. He was walking.
It's a cracked back.
He wouldn't be walking.
We're talking about someone playing football with cracking your spine.
I know all about spines, trust me. But you know what I mean. I have a very bad spine. It's disintegrating on me as we speak, as I sit here. Trust me, I know about spines, and it sucks. But yeah, no, I believe he had a bone disc or something, and
you got to
and they hurt as well. I won't take that away.
And you got to give Wentz credit because apparently he's been hurt since high school, and he's been playing with this injury all along. Who knew?
Yeah.
Is that giving him credit, or is that plain just being fucking stupid?
I was just being mad because
what I mean.
What Frank Rice said. I think that was just idiotic. he went through the draft and seen
Yeah, there's
multiple
no way.
doctors. I'm pretty sure one of them would have figured out an injury from high school.
Yeah,
Oh, that exactly. That's what I was sitting here thinking. I was like, wait, he played for us for 4 years. How the fuck did no one in our organization find this foot injury a long time ago? Like, why is it just now coming to light? It makes
I
no
don't think
sense.
the question about Wentz has never been his physical toughness. We've seen him get blasted time and time again and get up, pull himself up off of the the ground. It's more of his mental toughness, and that's where he's just not. And I don't think he ever was wired to fully succeed in Philadelphia. I just don't, and I think it's the true colors, have shown themselves more recently and have come to the surface. So it's with Carson Wentz,
Should I say it?
there's no way he's had that injury since high school. There's
Or should I
no
say it?
way. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
again, like I said, when you go, what was that?
Go ahead, AK.
He knows what I mean. You think now would be a good time, or
What's that?
do you think now would be a good time? Should I bring that up? What we talked about yesterday?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care.
Vic, I want your opinion on this, man. Now, before I even start this, I've had opinions before I even wanted to say this, and he knows where I'm coming from. This is not a race thing. This is not anything like that. This is literally looking at stats, looking at facts, and calling it for what it is. Okay? Yes, I'm going to say it, Jordy. Jordy even fucking knows what I mean. Yes, I'm going to say it. All right. Listen, it has come to my attention. God, I'm going to get fucking slammed for this. Oh, shit. It has come to my attention, and there's no hate in this whatsoever, but it's actually bad in my eyes for me. Philadelphia is not meant to have a white quarterback. If you look at all the stats from history, white quarterbacks do not work in Philadelphia. I'm not sure if it's a mentality thing, if it is a privilege thing, if there's not a chip on their shoulder or what. But the only white quarterback to ever succeed in Philadelphia is Ron Jaworski. Now you can sit here and say Nick Foles, but does 1 year classify somebody as being successful? Not to me. It's about longevity and consistency. Randall Cunningham, Owen McNabb, Michael Vick, all these guys, black, successful, mentality, strong, hardworking. The white guys, Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, Kevin Cobb, Sam Bradford, all bad. And why I say this is because Philadelphia is a blue-collar city. They're hard-working people. That is what that is. City of brotherly love. I'm just saying. I'm only going to leave it there. I'm not going to go into any further details or anything. But that was just a short aspect of it. Give me your take, man. Like I said, that was not a racial thing at all. That is just me looking at facts, me looking at quarterbacks and saying what it is.
I think race doesn't have in it isn't a big factor in it. I will say this: I think that we are fortunate to have our team in Philadelphia, in a city where you can have a black quarterback, you can have whatever it is, because that doesn't matter at the end of the day. They call it the city of brotherly love for a reason. We're not here looking at color. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at the kind of person you are, the mentality.
No, I know.
No, that's just saying. That's what we're looking for in our quarterback. I think that's why we're so successful in what we have, is because you said Ron Jaworski, Stanley Steve, all that. I think it's just your mental makeup. That's what makes you the quarterback that you need to be. And a lot of times, there's a lot of advertisement. There's a lot of things that players should be, and we look at more potential, and we don't focus on who that person actually is. And we overlook a lot of things. Prime example, Kevin Cobb. When he came into the league, everyone was saying, he was the next best thing to slice bread because of the offense that Houston ran. They thought that he would be able to take over for McNabb. But then when you find out, Cobb wasn't nowhere near prepared, because there's a lot of hype behind someone. And I think that's what it is. You have to evaluate everyone as who they are. Um, like I said, it all boils down to your mental makeup. That's what defines who you are, and that's what defines what an Eagle quarterback is. Their mental makeup.
I mean, it's
Oh, are you waiting for me to rebuttal? Because I'm not.
Yeah, I didn't know there was.
No, I was talking.
But I get it because. But I will say this. I will say this. You got a lot of quarterbacks, and yeah, you got McDonald. You had Nick Foles, who actually won us our Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's talent in every race. We all have ability to do our thing, no matter what color you are. You all have the potential to do something that no one else can. You all have, what I'm saying, something special with inside yourself. Your race has nothing to do with it. Yeah, it could determine on, your upbringing because that's, where you were around. That's the society you were in. But it all boils down to, like I said before, your mental makeup. Are you a person who's considerate? Are you a person who sees someone as just a regular person, not as a color, not the skin as a color or where they came from? I mean, we're all human beings at the end of the day, and that's the way we need to see each other. I mean, like, I got love for y'all. You aren't Puerto Rican, you're white. And I would love you the same way as I love another friend of mine who's Puerto Rican. I mean, because at the end of the day, like I said, we're all human, and that's the way we should be treating each other. There shouldn't be an argument of white, black, Chinese, whatever. We shouldn't even see a negative.
That's where I was
anything
afraid this
different.
was going to go. This is not
No,
where I
no.
wanted it to go.
But you know what?
This is
It's a
not
good thing it
exact.
did
This
go
is
there.
not where I wanted it to go at all.
But it's a good thing it did go there because that's a discussion people need to have. A lot of people are afraid of having this discussion, and you
right.
shouldn't be afraid of it. I mean, embrace what you are because the differences is what makes you who you are, and that's great.
Yes. Otherwise, we'd all be. If we all looked the same, we all dressed the same. It would be. This world would be so absolutely freaking boring. You wouldn't
Oh,
even.
for sure.
You wouldn't even know. Like you would. It would. We're so lucky to have such a diverse, culture on this earth, and we just. Yeah, I mean, it's it's just it's a very interesting topic, definitely, and and I'm glad that you brought it up, like Vic said, because a lot of people are afraid to talk about it, and they shouldn't be, because it needs to be it needs to be talked about.
And it's another thing too because a lot of the conversation goes to not more quarterbacks because if you would have said running back, that is a conversation that constantly happens. They always say a white running back can't make it. A white running back can't make it. Who the fuck is Christian McCaffrey? Does anyone realize who he is?
Right?
Again, it doesn't.
Yeah.
The skin tone of your body does not make you a better athlete. People got to understand.
No, that's not what I meant by that, though.
Oh no, I don't mean you specifically. I mean everyone in general. Anyone that's watching and anyone that's hearing this. The makeup of your skin tone, your melanin, doesn't make you who you are. Your upbringing, how you were raised, how you treat others, that's what makes you who you are.
Agreed.
And hopefully these are things that we're all teaching our kids too. Because if we're not, we're only going to end right back at square one.
No, I mean, like Big Play Slay said, that's facts, 100%, and that's definitely, like you said, as parents, we all three of us we have to make sure our kids understand that we are all the same, even though we may not all look the same, but we should all be treated the same. It's a really important thing to pass along to our little ones.
Okay, that's the sad thing. A lot of people aren't. You know what I'm saying? You listen to, just like now on YouTube, you'll hear kids talking on their gaming. They're saying a lot of harsh things that no kid should even know. So they're getting it from somewhere. So again, if you're watching this, man, talk to your kids, man. Let them know, like I said, the color of your skin won't define who you are. You mean your actions define who you are.
Yeah, 100%. AK, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
I didn't know if you had froze up.
And I got to say this, Jim McMahon was probably one of my favorite quarterbacks growing up too, because he had all the style. You knew when Jimmy came through to a press conference, he was coming with it.
That's funny
Had
that
the
you
glasses, had the jacket. He had all the swagger.
That's funny that you brought him up because I was on the phone with AK earlier, and we were talking about Baker Mayfield, and I said that Baker reminds me of kind of a modern day Jim McMahon
Yes.
with his swag. He just kind of has that moxie to him.
Great comparison because both don't give a shit about anything. They don't care about what you got to say with them. They're going to go out and play their game.
100%. Yep. Well, yeah. So we've been out. We've episode 5 of East Meets West has been. I think it's been very successful. And we've been on for a little over 2.5 hours now. We still got 9 people on the live stream. So shout out to you guys. Definitely. Thank you guys so much for not only being here and watching and listening to us, but also chiming in with all the great comments. I really appreciate it. Big Play Slay, what's up, my nephew? He said that's why I try to surround myself with really good people. Absolutely, my guy, and keep doing so. And that's a really good thing to do because you surround yourself with positive people, positive things are going to happen for you. So yes, keep doing that definitely. And Jinx Wolf said, "No, don't end." Well, AK, our new co-host Vic, you guys have any closing questions or comments for us? I mean, we can go a little bit longer. I'm not tripping on that, but if you guys have any topics you wanted to talk about before we get out of here,
Yeah, don't fucking kill me on what I just said.
Nah, no one should kill you. No one should kill you what you said. You didn't say anything wrong. You know what I mean? There was nothing wrong with what you said. Because, like I said,
No,
the
I know.
conversation comes
Well,
up
that's
all
why I
the
said
time.
it's just about stats. It's about statistics
Yeah.
for me. When you look at the roster, who we've had over the years, I'm not the one that sits here and chooses who's white or black. It just is what it is, and who played good and who played bad. I'm looking at that, and it's like, oh, I mean, it's right there in front of you. So I brought it up for Hills. It wasn't a race thing. Like I said, it was just statistics and facts. And I'm like, hey, there's nothing wrong with that because you know what? In my eyes, I was a huge Vic fan. I was a huge Randall Cunningham fan. I was a huge McNabb fan. I was not a Sam Bradford fan. I was not a Kevin Cobb fan. I was not a fucking. Well, I was kind of a Carson Wentz fan, for 1 year, maybe 2. But for the most part, I wasn't.
We all
up here
were.
at the end. So it's just looking at things and saying, okay, well, and like I said, that's also a compliment to Philly that they want working quarterbacks. They don't want someone who just thinks it needs to be handed to them.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to talk about. It's the mentality, the mindset you walk in with. And I'm not going to play. In a way, it seemed like Wentz felt like he was privileged. And that's fucked up. You're not privileged, bro. You didn't do shit yet to make me feel like you own that. So how are you privileged to have it? You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah. Without a doubt, and he got caught up way too much, especially last year. Way too much, especially from what I heard and read, things like that. So yeah, you have a good point. Well, Vic, you got any closing remarks or questions or comments, anything like that before we get out of here?
I'll just say this because of what happened this past week. Everybody be careful of who you follow and who you listen to and whose word you take as gospel. Because as we've seen, a credible, reporter from CBS can throw out a simple tweet, just an ignorant tweet without knowing, and he sets the whole world on fire. You know what I mean? Just because you have a check next to that name doesn't mean they're credible. It just means someone in Twitter office knows them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And also, you got to think about it too. This is the sad state that we live in now, when reporters this day and age don't report stories; they create stories. We used to be, we used to have a media that was, they stood for something. They had honor. You know what I mean? Like they were there to help the little person, a civilian. Now the media's all sensationalizing everything, and it's just a tabloid magazine, and you have to create stories. So just be careful who you follow, and don't follow for the dumb shit. If you know there's a current situation where a man has 32 legal cases against him, you should be smart enough to understand and logical enough to understand that he's not going to get traded. He can't, because every NFL player is like a stock, and if stocks go bad, you sell high and you get rid of them when they're bad. And right now, Watson is a horrible stock. His stock is failing every second of this day. So Houston's going to try to get rid of him or bury him. And I don't mean in the literal sense. Just, you know what I mean? Get him out the team. It's probably one of the reasons why he hasn't played yet. So always be careful on who you're listening to. Follow the guys here: Philly Mike, Philly Fresh, Gate City, Foothills, AK. Those are the people that you can listen to because we're not trying to give you no bullshit story. We're only trying to report what's true. And again, don't take our word as gospel either.
100% facts. Absolutely. Well said, Vic. We're glad. I think we're both glad that you've joined the podcast. So it's been a pleasure to have you so far. But yeah, I mean, AK, you got any? You have any closing remarks or comments, anything like that?
No, man, it's been a blast. Like I told you, you're my brother. Vic is one of my good friends. And me and him talk all the time. We're always communicating. It's nothing but love here, man. I love having him on because you know what, the controversy thing works. And we do see too much eye to eye. So I love having Vic here because me and him can have friendly arguments and laugh about it. It's fun.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, man, no, it's been great. I love that we started this podcast and I love where it's going. Hopefully it just gets bigger. But in all honesty though, man, I don't want it any other way. Y'all are awesome to work with and I just enjoy it so much.
Yeah, man, I just want to say I appreciate both of you for giving me the opportunity to let me on. Everyone in the chat, everyone that's watching, everyone that's supporting, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you because I'm just a guy like you, a guy from the chat who was just asked to come on and do this. You see me on Twitter, man. I'm promoting everybody that's out there because I honestly believe that we're a community and we need to promote each other. We need to get each other's names out there because there's no one else but ourselves. And no one's going to do it but ourselves. So when you see me out there, just know that, I'm here with the best intentions. I'm trying to spread, that Eagles good word. And everyone have a good night. And again, I appreciate y'all for watching and staying tuned. Hope you come back.
Absolutely. 100% agreed. And if you want to check out my man on Twitter, his Twitter link is in the description. So yes, definitely go check him out. He's always putting some good content out on Twitter. So yeah, go check him out. And he's always staying on top of the the latest Eagles information. So yes, definitely. Thank you, Vic.
Another quick update too, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure if he's still in here or not. If he is, awesome. If not, then he'll see it some other time. But just so you guys know, I don't have a time yet, but starting on Tuesdays, me and Jordy Fighter are going to start a podcast together on Tuesdays. And it's going to be for fantasy football. We're going to do the dark horse candidates for the week. We're going to, go over the stats of the previous week. That's why we kind of chose Tuesday. That way, you guys can see it before Thursday and we get all the results after Monday night. So that's something me and Joey are both really into. And, I called a lot of players coming out of this past year, like Robinson. That was the one guy I called and I had, and he balled out for him. I have pretty good intuition on some players, and so does Jordy. So we're starting a fantasy podcast on Tuesdays. So definitely keep your eye out for that. That's going to be fun.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, we'll definitely keep our eye out for that. And yeah, if you guys haven't done so already, make sure that you go sub up my man down here, AK Eagles, Eagles Uncensored. He's putting in some good work, that good Eagles content. And when he gets to 200 subscribers, which I think he's right around only about 30 away, he's giving away a vintage Eagles blanket. So definitely let's get him there, and let's get somebody that blanket because they're really going to enjoy it, especially when it goes into the colder months because that blanket looks awfully warm. That's for sure.
And it's the first ever Eagles logo we've ever had.
That's
the very first Eagles
truly
logo.
vintage right there. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so go
It's even before this one behind me. That's how old it is.
Yeah,
Like we're talking like 1940s
right.
logo.
The very, very first logo. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man, for sure. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. We have been on for about 2 hours and 45 minutes now. But yes, thank you guys so much for each and every one of you guys for being in the live stream. We appreciate you, Lindy. Thank you for showing up. Better late than never. Absolutely. Jordy Fighter, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. Like I always say, you guys are the food and the water to the channel. Without you, it does not continue to survive. So please, if you are feeling the vibe, please smash that subscribe and keep my dreams alive, because I'm going to Philly, me and the wifey, for the very first time this year. And you guys are only helping us get there and taking care of all the costs and things like that. So anything you do to support the channel, it's only going right back into the channel and to help us with that trip, all the costs and things like that. So yeah, for my new co-host VICK3, my partner in crime, Eagles Uncensored. Until next time, we fly until we die. Stay mean, stay green. Thanks for viewing me on your screen. But most importantly, as always, keep it fuego. Peace, y'all.